Good evening. It's 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday, May 27th. I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls City School District Board of Education. Ms. Stoiko, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Gomez?
Here.
Mr. Harris?
Here.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Here.
Ms. White?
Here.
Mrs. Zimmerman?
Here.
Thank you. Item B is approve the agenda. Number 1 is motion to approve the agenda. It's recommended the Board of Education approves the agenda of the May 27th, 2026 Board of Education meeting. Action by the Board of Education, adoption of consent agenda means that all items are adopted by one singular motion unless a member of the Board of Education, Treasurer, or Superintendent requests that any such item be removed from the consent agenda and voted upon separately.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmerman?
Aye.
Thank you. Item C is our opening ceremony. Number 1 is informational items. This meeting is a meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls Board of Education in public for the purpose of connecting the school district's business. It is not a public community meeting, although there are opportunities for public participation. If an individual wishes to address the board regarding a topic found on the meeting agenda, the individual must complete a registration form found inside the attendance notebook and present it to the treasurer. Following the introduction of the topic by the board president, followed by board discussion, the individual will be recognized. If an individual wishes to address the board regarding a topic not found on the meeting agenda, they must notify the superintendent and or board president of the topic no later than 3 business days in advance of the meeting. These individuals may share their comments during the board business portion of the agenda. In both cases, the individual will preface comments by announcement of their name and address and limit comments to 3 minutes. All statements should be directed to the board president. No person may address or question board members individually. An unabridged board agenda for this meeting can be found in your address shown on the screen, and for your convenience, hard copies of the board agenda may be found on the table by the sign-in book. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls Board of Education is June 10th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. in the 612 Campus Performing Arts Center Black Box Theater. Now for our pledge and welcome, Ms. Stoikoy.
Thank you. Please stand if you're able. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. Our vision. Cuyahoga Falls City School District, the hub of our community, committed to a culture of caring. We innovate, we create, we personalize education for all. Our mission, every student, every day, every opportunity.
Thank you. Item D is presentations. First up, we have our art student recognition. I'd like to invite up Mrs. Schulman.
There she is.
Perfect timing, Maya. You want to just make your way all the way down up to Mrs. Schulman at the podium.
Oh, now you have to stand up here with me. Come on. I'll start as she's coming down. Good evening. My name is Jennifer Schulman. I'm an art educator here at Cuyahoga Falls High School. It is my honor to share with you an incredible accomplishment made by our very own student artist, Maya Sharma. Okay, now I gotta talk about you. Okay, so last month I shared an incredible artwork she created. It is titled Art History, according to the artist, Maya. The inspiration behind this work is the role of art history in our daily lives. The work is mixed media, mainly made of hand-stitched embroidery with paper collage, and it's mounted on wood. I shared this artwork noting that it was a regional finalist in the Governor's Show exhibition and was at the time just an entrant in the Congressional Art Competition. I'm thrilled to share that this artwork went on to be the ultimate winner that will represent the state of Ohio's 13th district in the Congressional Art Competition. It's hard to describe the feelings when sitting in the audience, watching as they announced awards for various categories. We knew she had won something, but her name just wasn't getting called. It was kind of like being in a beauty contest when all the contestants are holding hands and on stage and waiting, but in some way it was more nerve-wracking. But suddenly it was time, and Maya's name was announced. You can go to the next slide if you want. Okay, there we go. Okay. So what does the 13th District Congressional Art Award winner mean? This competition is a nationwide contest sponsored by the House of Representatives, giving Congress an opportunity to recognize artistic talent in the nation. Specifically here in the 13th District, as the overall winner, Maya's art will be displayed for 1 year in Washington, D.C., along with artworks from all participating districts from around the country. It will hang in the famous Cannon Tunnel for a full year. This tunnel is a primary thoroughfare for members of Congress, staff, visitors, and providing massive visibility for our students' talent. She has also been given 2 airline tickets to attend the opening ceremony in DC on June 25th. This was especially exciting because it couldn't have been awarded to a more deserving and interested artist. If you know Maya, you would understand that she is motivated by politics and government and the desire to make a difference for the betterment of our society. Having Congresswoman Amelia Sykes personally give a speech about her work, along with the Ohio Representative Derek Hall from the House of District 34, was surreal. In conclusion, I wanted to read one of the 3 beautiful documents she was presented with. Next slide. This one is from the General Assembly of the State of Ohio House Representative presented by Derek Hall. It's this beautiful document framed. It was very cool. And it states, on winning first place honors in the 2026 Congressional Art Competition of Ohio's 13th District, selection for this prestigious distinction is a fitting tribute to you, a junior at Cuyahoga Falls High School. You have displayed exemplary initiative, enthusiasm, and perseverance in developing your skills as an artist, and as a result, your piece, Art History, was selected as the overall winner of the 2026 Congressional Art Competition for the Ohio's 13th District and will hang in the halls of Congress during the coming year. The arts are invaluable for the development of the human spirit and provide a common ground for all people, never ceasing to renew, educate, enrich, and illuminate. In this time of increased emphasis on industry, science, and technology, it is reassuring to note that our nation's strong artistic heritage is being perpetuated and advanced through the diligent efforts of creative and talented individuals such as you. With us, with great pleasure, we congratulate you on your recent accolade and salute you as one of Ohio's finest young citizens. Congratulations, Maya.
Congratulations again, Maya. We are incredibly proud of you. And then next is our Purple Scar School, DeWitt Elementary, Dr. Selicow. And I like also, because she's here, our military family coordinator, Mrs. Whitcomb, if you help honor DeWitt as well and give them their certificate.
Impromptu. Good evening. As Mr. Gomez said, we're happy to honor DeWitt this evening. So if I could have any member of DeWitt, if you'd like to come forward. This is a collective effort. No, don't be shy. I saw some whispers. Go on. Come on up. Yeah, I called you out. There are others here. A whole row, I was going to say. All right, well, all right. We'll just give you the accolades. All right. So just to tell you a little bit about the award. The Ohio Department of Education and Workforce has selected DeWitt Elementary School as a Purple Star School. The Purple Star Award recognizes schools that show a major commitment to students and families connected to our nation's military. Future Forward Ohio, the state's strategic priorities for education, recognizes the importance of overcoming obstacles to learning. To be successful in school and when transitioning between school settings, Ohio's military-connected youth require supports to ensure their unique wellness and academic needs are met. The Purple Star Award signifies DeWitt's demonstrated commitment to serving these students and families. Ohio's Purple Star Advisory Board established a set of important criteria that schools must meet to be considered for a Purple Star designation, and DeWitt has met that criteria along with many of our other schools in the district, but we are happy to have them join the ranks, and congratulations to all of you for your great work. Thank you. you. Good work. Congratulations.
And now, what almost everyone's here for, our retiree recognition. I'd like to invite up Ms. Allison Bogdan and her reliable helper, Mrs. Whitcomb.
Absolutely.
We are excited tonight. We are recognizing a combined 1,003 years with our retirees tonight.
Woo. Thank you, President Gomez. 1,003? Wow.
I'm gonna do the math earlier.
That was
'cause you had
impressive.
the
That's an
total.
impressive
It's
stat, yep.
Like, I gotta get this total.
Right. So good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us for this, for recognizing our retirees. Such an important evening. We're excited to be able to shine a bright light on our retirees. But before we begin, I want to recognize those retirees that were unable to come this evening and thank them for their years of service to the Falls. Ms. Teresa McBride, an intervention specialist at the middle school for 13 years. Ms. Cindy Lane, speech and language pathologist for 25 years. Oh, that's Julie. Ms. Diana Gerber, secretary at Silver Lake for 28 years. Mr. Brian Jenkins, custodian at the high school for 8 years. Mr. Kevin Dean, custodian at the high school for 37 years. Ms. Hope Jones, secretary at operations for 12 years. Mr. Kelly Durbin, math teacher at the middle school for 18 years. Mr. Jim Winkleman, health and phys ed teacher at the middle school for 34 years. Also retiring is Mr. Dan McGovern, Project Lead the Way at the middle school for 30 years. Mr. John Lipness, Auto Tech at the high school for 21 years. Our very own Mr. Joe Bugatti, Director of Business Ops for 10 years. Ms. Nancy Bai, paraprofessional for 12 years. And Ms. Donna Soros, food service for 38 years. If we could just give them a round of applause. So this evening, principals and their representatives, or directors and their representatives, have prepared parting words for each of our retirees that are present. When I call your name, please come to the podium so that we can recognize you. So first up is Miss Julie DeDones, and she is being recognized by Jody Hausman. She has 30 years, and her title is Pre-K through 12 Curriculum Coordinator.
It is a true privilege tonight to honor a leader whose impact on Cuyahoga Falls is heartfelt. As we celebrate Julie Dudones on her retirement, we aren't just recognizing a career, we are celebrating a 30-year legacy in the Falls that is built on expertise, dedication, and joy. Julie's journey here began in the classroom as a middle school ELA teacher, and those who were lucky enough to be in her room knew she was a force to be reckoned with. She held high expectations for every student, tirelessly developing the next generation of writers. She didn't just teach grammar and composition, she taught her students how to find their voices. Her presence was key to school culture and academic excellence that defined Roberts Middle School. As she moved into administration, that same passion for people followed her. Julie is well known across the state for her work in education, but here in our district, we also know her as a student advocate. At her core, her philosophy has always been simple: student-centered decisions come first. She's legendary for her ability to manage a waning budget, like the skill of an accountant. When resources were tight, Julie didn't see a dead end, she saw a challenge to be solved. She is famous for finding ways to serve our students at any cost: grants, rethinking allocations, and fighting for every penny to ensure our kids never felt the pinch of a tight budget. Her dedication to our staff is just as fierce. Julie understands that to serve students well, we must first support our educators. She has spent countless hours from the country of England, from the maternity ward, from being a caregiver, being off on a sick day, she's working. Countless dedicated hours. She developed professional learning for all these many years, and she recognizes that adult learners have diverse needs, and she crafted professional development that wasn't just a box to check. It was a meaningful experience that met educators exactly where they are. Though state testing is easily the least glamorous task she led each year, Julie made the entire process seamless. Thanks to her amazing organizational skills, what could feel overwhelming, she turned it into a smooth routine. She handled every schedule in detail flawlessly, keeping everyone calm and running like clockwork. But Julie's vision has always reached far beyond our district borders. She has dedicated herself to lifting up others, serving on the BASA Women's Leadership Committee. There, she worked to pave the way for the next generation of female administrators, seeking out new learning opportunities and ensuring that leadership in Ohio is as strong and as diverse as the students we serve. Her regional impact was recently recognized with a well-deserved award from the Summit Educational Service Center, the Lifetime Achievement Award in Education. She is well respected by her peers because they know her dedication to serving others is unparalleled. And yet, if you ask her colleagues what they will remember most, it might not be the budgets or the PD schedules or her leadership, it will be her voice. Julie has a beautiful, rare gift for bringing levity to the heaviest moments in those long, terrible meetings that I led in teaching and learning. When we all needed to smile, Julie would break into song. That sense of joy, that ability to use music and humor to remind us all why we do this work has been appreciated by others. She now begins what is sure to be the most rewarding chapter of her life, being a grandmother. Her sweet grandson, Ronan, was born just a few weeks ago, and the extra spring in her step is undeniable. She bounces around the office now. Her husband, Matt, her daughters, Laura and Bethany, are thrilled to finally have more time together. Plus her sister, Beth, who is also celebrating her retirement tonight from DeWitt. I would imagine they're looking forward to plenty of sister shopping trips, travel adventures, and long lunches around town. Julie, you leave behind a district that is more resourceful, more inspired, and certainly more joyful because of your service. You led with a passion that was always about people. We thank you for your years of dedicated service, and while we will miss your expertise, like your students, we will miss your voice the most. Congratulations.
Next, we'd like to bring to the podium Ms. Amy McDougall, who serves as our 6th District Educational Compact Special Education Coordinator. She's being recognized by Ms. Heather Zeman. She's been with us for 30 years, and her crew.
I have a little bit of help this evening. So I'm going to wait for them to come up here. All right. We are so happy to be celebrating Amy's dedication to education and students. Amy started her career with Cuyahoga Falls as a DH teacher in DeWitt, Old Term, in 1995. Since 2007, she has been the special education coordinator for the 6th District Compact. Amy has excellent rapport with students and nurtures relationships with CTE teachers, intervention specialists, tutors, and administrators in each district. When asked to describe Amy, I did ask all the compact. Educators from across the 6 districts described her as fun, energetic, caring, genuine, dedicated, accommodating, inclusive, reliable, always willing to help, positive, and an advocate. However, most people described her as kind. It was mentioned multiple times. Amy has a big heart for all of our students. Amy, you leave behind an indelible imprint on countless lives. You have supported over 2,400 students with disabilities along their path to career tech education over the last 20 years. May your next chapter be filled with plenty of adventures, quality time with family, and the peace of knowing that you made a profound, lasting difference. Congratulations on your retirement. So I do have some helpers here. I have a third one as well. So Kathleen Davison was unable to be here tonight, so I'm going to read her words. So she said, I just wanted to say a few words about my friend, Amy McDougall. I've known Amy for a very long time. She was actually one of my brother's teachers at DeWitt back in the 90s. When I asked him what he remembered most about her, he immediately said, she was the fun one. And I still remember my mom saying, that woman is a saint to work with and teach Jeff day in and day out. A few years after I started teaching, Amy became the special education career tech coordinator for the 6th district compact, and her office was right outside my classroom. That gave me a chance to catch up with her often, and it also gave her the opportunity to visit with students, many of whom she had taught the years before. In that role, I watched Amy impact so many students' lives. Students would come to my room looking for Mrs. McDougall because they knew she would listen, give advice, and help them through whatever challenge they were facing. One student in particular stands out to me. During an especially difficult year, while I was on maternity leave, this student lost her mother after a battle with cancer. Amy was always there for her and making sure she stayed on track to complete her program, while also providing the support, compassion, and listening ear she needed during such a heartbreaking time. This is just who Amy is. She cares deeply about her students and the people around her. And of course, Amy's friendships are just as meaningful as her work. More than 10 years ago, a group of us were at a Christmas gathering and started talking about taking a summer girls' trip. What started as a casual conversation turned into a tradition, and we still get together every summer for a weekend filled with laughter, relaxation, and great memories. Amy, you have touched so many lives throughout your career with your kindness, patience, humor, and unwavering support. While we will miss seeing you in the halls, we know the next chapter is so well deserved. I hope your retirement brings you lots of time with your daughter, your granddaughter, your sons, and of course, Brad. Congratulations, Amy. We are so happy for you.
Hi, I'm Alicia, and I work at the high school with Amy. I've been a colleague of Amy for the last 20 years, and for most of those years, I've been proud to call her a personal friend. And thinking back on the many years that I've worked with Amy, honestly, I can't think of one single instance that she did not try to bring a positive comment to a negative situation or a negative conversation. I can't think of one single instance where she couldn't, from memory, give me any information that I requested about any one of the many students that she works with. It's obvious to me, Amy, that you've always had a sincere interest in developing and maintaining personalized working relationships with all the students across the programs in the compact. I cannot recall one single instance that Amy wasn't responsive, helpful, well-spoken, and knowledgeable. Whether she was helping me gather information from other districts, whether being an advocate for what was best for students, or when working with parents and other staff in the many, many meetings we've attended together. Amy has always impressed me by showing up every single day of every single school year with a positive mindset. And while this seems simple on the surface, it really isn't simple at all. It's an accomplishment. It's dedication, it's integrity, and it's resilience. And I think be able to do this also naturally, that is remarkable. In the truest sense of the word, it should be remarked upon. So congratulations to you, Amy, on all your successes that you've had serving our district and for all the lives that you've touched in such a positive way. I hope you'll carry the many friendships that you've made along the years with you. You'll be missed.
I know. She said, I love you. This is going to be in the speech. My name's Shannon Hoover. I'm an intervention specialist at the high school. And I've had the pleasure of knowing and working with Amy ever since I started my current role with Kathleen Davison and Tatiana Bissell at the high school. And we teach ID and MD students. And we clicked right away. So if you know Amy, you know she is always the best dressed. She always has the cutest outfit on, the best shoes, and her hair is never in a messy bun. This is important for the story. Okay. One of our first conversations, I remember her asking me in the nicest way possible, "Shannon, are you a coach here?" "What do you coach?" And I smiled and I told her I wasn't. And she but I quickly realized when I looked at my outfit that I did in fact look like I had a game right after school. I've stepped it up since I've known Amy a little bit. A few years later, another colleague stopped me in Thomas Court while we were walking into the building, and he started asking me questions, and I remember thinking, why is Joe talking about these CTE students to me? This is so weird. I was confused, which honestly is not that uncommon for me, so I just moved on. A day or two later, I was talking to Amy, and she told me that she had almost the same exact conversation with that teacher, except hers was about basketball. Okay, and so suddenly we realized, he had gotten the two of us confused. And I'll tell you, I have never been happier to be, to this day, mistaken for Amy McDougall. Now, for Amy, it wasn't quite as fun, but she always is sweet and kind. She's always kind, so she says, yes, I am happy about that. Over the years, we've become great friends. We call each other Sissy. We've had many conversations about students who somehow always ended up being hers in CTE, and we would always count on finding each other at staff events to laugh together. Amy is going to be missed for so many reasons: her smile, her knowledge, and most of all, the sincere way she cared about her coworkers and her students. She truly made people feel supported and valued. Sharita and I will miss you. Enjoy the beach life. Amy, you have earned it. Thank you.
Our next retiree is Miss Elizabeth Curtis Thomas, second grade teacher at DeWitt. She's going to be recognized by Jennifer Scala. She's been with us for 35 years.
Look, you got a little fan crowd over there. Here we go. I love it. I know. Well, it is my honor tonight to recognize Mrs. Thomas, who is retiring after an incredible 35-year career dedicated entirely to the students of Cuyahoga Falls. Mrs. Thomas began her journey as a student teacher at Silver Lake and came straight to DeWitt Elementary, where she has spent her entire career in the exact same second grade classroom. For 3.5 decades, she has been a pillar of consistency, kindness, and professionalism, masterfully blending rigorous learning standards with deep content knowledge to help our youngest students understand the world around them. Inside of her classroom, Mrs. Thomas created a magical learning environment that generations of DeWitt alumni carry in their memories. Long before the era of smartphones, she was using her signature smiley face emojis to encourage students, watching over them with an unmatched warmth and care. Her students thrived under her thoughtful routines, from mastering Planet Math facts and earning classroom tickets to her legendary morning meetings where she integrated current sports statistics to show children the real-world power of mathematics. She truly possesses a unique gift for growing learners, nurturing each child's potential, much like the pumpkins in her beloved pumpkin patch at DeWitt. What makes Mrs. Thomas truly irreplaceable is her deep, enduring connection to our community. Because of her remarkable longevity, she has frequently had the joy of teaching the children of her very first students, wrapping entire generations of Cuyahoga Falls families in her conscientious care. She has spent her life making sure the individual needs of every single child who walked through her door was met. While she will be deeply missed in our hallways next year, her legacy is permanently woven into the fabric of DeWitt Elementary School. We thank her for her 35 years of unparalleled service, and we honor her tonight as she steps into retirement, knowing she will forever be a second grade teacher. Congratulations.
We're going to keep Miss Scala up here. Our next retiree is Miss Karen Newsom, 47 years, 47 years, 47 years. First grade teacher at DeWitt.
Well, that's how it starts for me too. So congratulations. Mrs. Newsom is retiring after a staggering, awe-inspiring 47 years in the classroom, a monumental milestone representing nearly 5 decades of patience, dedication, first day jitters transformed into last day tears. Her journey through our district serves as a beautiful map to our community's history, beginning with 3 years at Grant School before its doors closed, followed by 23 years anchoring Newberry School community until it closed, and finally finding her home at DeWitt since 2005. In a world that's constantly changing, Karen has been our steadfast constant, guiding generations of children through the foundational steps of their education. The secret to Karen's enduring magic lies in her incredible communication and her camera. Long before modern apps made it easy, she was a master at connecting with families, deeply understanding that teaching a child means partnering with the whole family. From the first day of school to the very last, she constantly captures moments, filling parents' phones and hearts with photos of their children growing, learning, and laughing. These tangible timelines of breakthrough moments leave a lasting gallery of memories that families cherish for a lifetime, which is why her former students don't just graduate and move on, they return years and sometimes decades later to visit the teacher who didn't just teach them how to read, that gave them a lifelong love for it. Beyond her dedication, Karen has brought a unique joy and color to DeWitt that will be deeply missed. It's a well-known fact that no one else in the building goes through as many crayons as Karen. A testament to the vibrant, hands-on, and beautifully creative learning environment she provides for those first graders. Her classroom has always famously been shared with her beloved gnomes, which, like them, Karen has spent 47 years acting as a whimsical guardian of childhood, watching over her students, keeping both feet firmly planted in what matters most. Karen, you have shaped generations, worn out miles of crayons, and ensured our youngest learners felt safe, seen, and inspired. Thank you for giving 47 years of life to this community.
So our next retiree that we'd like to call up to the podium is Ms. Gina Randolph. Ms. Randolph serves as an ISGI currently at the preschool, but she was at DeWitt for a while. We have Ms. Scala speaking on her behalf as well. For 34 years she's been with us.
I have the privilege tonight to be honoring Mrs. Gina Randolph, but I'm reading the words of Mrs. Sabaticki, who wanted to make sure that she got a chance to say all that you mean to her as well. So I'm going to be reading her words tonight. It is such an honor to celebrate Gina tonight. When I first began my journey in education, Gina was one of the very first people I met. And years later, I was truly blessed to serve as her principal during her final year in education. That feels especially meaningful because Gina represents everything that is good about this profession. She has always been encouraging, creative, and most importantly, a true champion for kids. Gina has the kind of heart that makes students feel valued and colleagues feel supported. She brought energy, creativity, and care into the building every single day. And let's be honest, anyone who works in education long enough deserves not just retirement, but probably a parade, a nap, and unlimited coffee for life. Through changing expectations, endless initiatives, and more meetings than any human should endure, Gina stayed focused on what matters most, kids. Her impact reaches far beyond lesson plans and classrooms. It lives in the students she's encouraged, the coworkers she has inspired, and countless lives she has helped shape along the way. Gina, thank you for your dedication, your creativity, your years of service. Education is better because of you. And we are all lucky to have worked alongside of you. Congratulations on your retirement. You've earned it.
Next up is Miss Cynthia Hardy. She is a school counselor at the high school. She's being recognized by Mr. Jason Smith. She's been with us for 37 years.
Okay. Well, I am being joined by Mrs. Vicki Davis and Mrs. Melody Carlisle as well, as they have known Cindy for a long time. I just want to say a few words before I turn it over. I've had the opportunity to work with Mrs. Hardy for the past 6 years as I've been an administrator in Cuyahoga Falls High School. I've always appreciated her sense of humor, her leadership within the department, the care that she shows every single one of her students, and her passion for her profession. I've learned so much from her in this short amount of time, relatively speaking, and I'm truly grateful for that time that I've had just working with her. I'm excited for the next chapter in her life. Congratulations, Cindy. We're certainly going to miss you. I know I'm going to miss you, and I just want to turn things over to Melody and Vicki.
Good evening. I'm Melody Carlisle, and I am a teacher at the middle school, but I have known Cindy for a really long time. So it is my honor to speak to you tonight about the career of Cynthia Palm Hardy. Cindy began her career in 1984-85 school year. She has spent all but one of her 42 years, Miss Bogdan, I'm not sure where you got your math, but it's 42 years as a black tiger. So she spent 1 year somewhere else. But 42 years, what an amazing accomplishment. So throughout the 42 years, Cindy has taught English language arts to approximately 3,450 students, served as an elementary school counselor to over 2,400 students, and helped roughly 4,875 high school students navigate the transition from high school to adulthood. As a colleague, I will always remember Cindy's ability to fiercely advocate for her students. She cares deeply about each and every student she advises, and she always goes above and beyond to ensure their success. Most of all, I will remember my friend of 30 years. You have been a trusted confidant, an in-the-trenches friend when we raised our kids together, and the origin of so many laughs at the annual girls' trip, the same one Amy's on. We wish you the very best. We don't really know what it's going to be like without you at the school, but we'll always see you, so we love you so much.
Good evening, I'm Victoria Davis. I've worked with Cindy for about 15 years now as co-school counselors at the high school. For years, Cindy has guided students through some of life's biggest decisions, college choices, career paths, and occasionally whether it's a good idea to take 4 AP classes, student council, executive committee, numerous clubs, part-time job, and still be able to function and sleep. She's been part counselor, part life coach, part detective, and part miracle worker. Over the years, Cindy has helped students plan their futures, calm their anxieties, and gently explain over and over again
that yes, deadlines are real, and no, starting a semester-long project the night before is not a strategy. She's also mastered the art of concerned look, the supportive nod. And I already told you this 5 times, but I'll say it again nicely, boys. Now, as you step into retirement, we hope you take all those incredible skills and use them wisely. For example, advising yourself on the best beach to visit next, counseling yourself through the stress of choosing between naps and more naps, and guiding yourself through the difficult decision of what time to wake up when there's absolutely nowhere you have to be. You've earned this next chapter, Cindy. No more early mornings, no more last-minute schedule changes, and no more urgent emails at 10 p.m. Although we will miss you dearly, we're so excited for you to enjoy a well-deserved retirement filled with relaxation, adventure, and 0 student emails that start off, "Can I change my schedule?" Cindy, thank you for everything you've done, for your kindness, your dedication, your incredible ability to make a difference every day with every student, and your friendship. Congratulations, enjoy every minute of your retirement. Sorry, Cindy, I didn't give you those 42 well-deserved years. So next up, we'd like to recognize a paraprofessional at the high school, Ms. Susan Harp. So we'd ask Mr. Smith to come back up to the podium.
Okay. Has it been 24 years?
Yeah,
20.
I think 26.
Oh, 26 years. Okay. There you go. All right. 27. Well, we're all over the place. That's probably true. So, I've had the opportunity, similar with Cindy, to really get to know Sue for the last 6 years, again, as an administrative role. She is just so dedicated to her students. She just brings a wonderful brightness every single day. It just has formed some wonderful, wonderful relationships with both her students and staff. Kathleen Davison, again, was hoping to be here. Unfortunately, she could not, but she did share some words that I would like to read for Sue at this time. So Kathleen says, "I would like to say a few words about Sue Harp. I've had the privilege of working with Sue for many years, and during that time, I have seen the incredible care, patience, and kindness that she brings to everyone around her. I remember back when we were both attendants at the high school. Sue worked with several students who needed support throughout the day, and no matter the situation, those students always had smiles on their faces when they were with Mrs. Harp. She had a way of making students feel comfortable, valued, and cared for. Later, I became a teacher, and Sue and I worked together during summer school at Lincoln. We spent our days chasing little kids all over the classroom and playground while trying to find our groove. There were plenty of laughs along the way, and the students were always excited when Mrs. Harp walked through the door. Her positive attitude and sense of humor made even the busiest days better. When Sue joined us at the high school as an aide, we were incredibly lucky to have her. She's always one of the first people to step in and help a student, lend a listening ear, or make sure someone has the support that they need. She's touched the lives of so many students and staff members simply by being the caring and dependable person that she is. Retirement may not look exactly the way Sue and Jim once imagined together, and we know that Jim would be so proud to see her reach this milestone. While it will not be the same without him, I hope Sue finds comfort in all of the wonderful memories they shared and the joy in this next chapter ahead. I hope she takes time to relax, enjoy her grandchildren, and spend time doing the things that make her happy. Sue, thank you for the years of dedication, the laughter, the kindness, and the support that you've given so many people. You will truly be missed, and we wish you nothing but happiness in your retirement. Thank you, Sue. No, go ahead. Mrs. Hoover's going to come back up and share a quick story about Mrs. Harp as well.
Was that a hint,
No.
quick? No, this is a very quick story. So when I came up with Kathleen and Miss Bissell, At that time, it wasn't Miss Bissell. Anyway, Sue was my aide. And I said, Sue, I don't know what I'm doing. And she said, it's okay, just, they'll do the same thing if you do it that way every day if you want. But she was always the confidence that I had every day. And I had one quick story about the time that something happened with a student with behaviors, and it was my first year. And I walked down the hall, and she was coming the other way, and I looked at her, and I said, this might be my last day. And she goes, okay. And she runs, and she runs in the room, and I came back in, I said, I think I'm okay. And she said, you're okay, you got this. Our students call her Mrs. Hart.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that.
Oh, that's nice.
You like that? I thought of that. We love you. We're gonna miss her.
Thank you.
Next retiree we're going to recognize is Mr. Joe Wenneman, District Electrician. Mr. Aaron Mancini is going to speak on behalf of many of his colleagues.
Hi, I first got to work with Joe when I was a student helper and 18 at DeWitt Elementary School. It's been a while since then. He's our district electrician. His work is impeccable. He always makes sure it's done exactly to code and everything that's in our buildings and offices, and he'll definitely let you know. 'Cause Joe likes giving us a hard time for fun, but he's not going to have anything in the schools that's going to be unsafe to anybody. Now, in his spare time, he loves roller coasters. He loves Batman. You can see that. He likes being with his friends, his neighbors. He's so close, his little block, his neighborhood, they're all so close together. Some of his neighbors are even here right now. A bunch of the kids at my building know who he is because he is the friendliest guy in the world. He's shown me a lot, electrical-wise, at work. He's a great friend, and we're all going to miss you, Joe.
Okay, for the next several hours, we're going to have Tammy Brown up here. So Tammy, your time has come. The first person, oh, they're all coming. I should have known that, Preston. Mr. Scott Hazel will be our first, or are you going to take over?
All 7 of you, please.
Okay, so she's just going to take over. I'm going to step
We're
away.
going to save time with
Step away.
transition and everything.
It's a Preston takeover.
You stand right here. I need your last.
She came up on,
You're by her.
she came up earlier and asked where she could have you all
That's,
stand. Where can I arrange
Scott,
them all?
come this way. Becky, please. No, there's an order. You're by Kathy. There's an order, trust me. Scott, you're by Kathy, then Beth, then Lisa, then Joanna, please.
I'm quitting next year.
Okay, so I'm Tammy Brown, Preston principal, and congratulations, everyone. My life is in this room. Thank you, Amy, for letting me come be a field student when I was at the university. Thank you, Gina, for helping me learn title. Thank you, Karen, for teaching my daughter and giving her the world in first grade. Thank you, Cindy, for sharing BOE with me. This is so bizarre. But now I'm going to talk about the 225 approximate years behind me. At the elementary level, we all know that our youngest learners come to us, and they need a very strong foundation. And Dr. Selico told me I couldn't take 10 hours, so we need to focus. So we're going to focus. It's a really good thing there's 7 of them.
Dr. Selico predicted that you were going to do that.
She knew I would do a show.
I did.
She actually literally predicted you were going to do a PRES.
You have to. She knows me. So 7, isn't that nice of them to cooperate? And so we're going to focus, and I didn't want to talk about all of them. So I have peers joining me that have worked with them for their years.
You're only going to cooperate so much.
Hi, good evening. I am here first to talk about the Dream Team, PNR. Before I do that, I did want to say Preston seems to be a place that people come to stay. And the majority of us have worked for 20 or more years together. And when you look back, we've experienced our big life events together. And this is just another one that I'm happy to be here with you for. So really, congratulations to all of you and all the retirees out there. But I'm going to start with Joanna P. behind me. Today, we gather to celebrate an incredible educator, colleague, and friend, Jo. And it feels only fitting to honor her using a letter that represents her so well, the letter P. P is for particular. Joanna has always been particular about her classroom, and we mean that in the very best of ways. Every detail mattered because every child mattered. From the way materials were organized to the way lessons were delivered, her classroom was a place of intention, care, and excellence. That particular nature created an environment where students felt safe, supported, and ready to learn. P is for polite. Joanna carries herself with a quiet grace. Her kindness and respect towards students, families, and colleagues has never gone unnoticed. She leads with compassion. P is for purposeful. There is nothing accidental about Joanna's teaching. She is deeply purposeful, thoughtful in her planning, intentional in her instruction, and always focused on what is best for her students. Her work has made a lasting impact, shaping not just academic growth, but confident, capable learners. And finally, P is for pride. Joanna, you should feel an incredible sense of pride in the career you've built, the lives you've touched, and the legacy you leave behind. No sniffing, I heard that. Your dedication and heart have made a difference that will continue for years to come. As you move into the next chapter, we wish you peace, passion, and plenty of time to enjoy all the things you love. Congratulations, Joanna. You will be deeply missed, always appreciated, and forever a part of this community. It's still me. So now it's R for Lisa. Today we come together to celebrate someone truly special, Lisa, and it feels only right to honor her through a letter that captures her spirit so perfectly, the letter R. R is for resilient. Lisa, your strength is nothing short of inspiring. Through every challenge, you have shown what it means to keep going with courage and determination. Even while facing personal health battles, you have continued to show up, give your best, and remind us all what true resilience looks like. You are not just fighting, you are winning, and we are all in awe of you. R is for remarkable. Lisa is a remarkable educator, especially in the world of math. She has a gift for helping students understand, grow, and believe in themselves. Her impact goes far beyond numbers. She has shaped confidence, perseverance, and curiosity in every student she has taught. R is for ready. If you know Lisa, you know she is always ready. Ready to teach, ready to jump in, ready to support others, and ready to make a difference. Her energy and commitment have been constants we can all rely on. R is for recreation and fun. Lisa knows that learning should be joyful, whether it's games, laughter, or creative lessons. She brings fun into the classroom in a way that makes students excited to learn. Her sense of humor is contagious, and her laughter has brightened countless days for students and colleagues alike. R is for remembered. Lisa, you will be remembered not just for what you taught, but for how you made people feel. Your kindness, your humor, your strength, and your passion will leave a lasting legacy in this school and in the hearts of many. Yeah, come here. Oh, I almost made it. As you begin this next chapter, we wish you rest, relaxation, and continued renewal. no eye contact. May your days be filled with laughter, lots of game time, and all the things you bring that bring you happiness. Thank you for everything. You are extraordinary, and you will be deeply missed. Hey.
Good? I think they're good. So it's my turn. I am here to talk to you about Beth, or she's my Bethy. And we have worked together for many years in the beginning of my career, and here she is all these years later. So I have the letter E. Today we have the joy of celebrating Beth and an incredible career that has touched so many lives. And to honor her, we're going to focus on you. Here we go, Beth. E is for enthusiastic. Even after many years in education, your enthusiasm for teaching has never faded. You bring passion into every lesson, every interaction, and every moment. That enthusiasm has inspired both your students and your colleagues in ways that will last far beyond today. E is for exceptionally loyal. Beth is not just a colleague, she is a true friend to all of us standing up here. Anybody who knows Beth knows how loyal she is, and her loyalty runs deep, and she has always been someone others can count on. She shows up, supports, listens, and stands beside those that she cares about. E is for ecstatic. Through all the years, changes, and new curriculum initiatives, Beth has embraced it all with excitement. We work together on this. We can do it. While others might hesitate, Beth leaned in with positivity, always ready to learn something new and make the most of every experience. And of course, E is for edible excellence. We cannot celebrate this woman without mentioning her famous cutout cookies. Her love of baking has brought all of us joy at Preston over and over and over again. She brings in sweet treats that reflect the same care and creativity she brings into her classroom. Preston may be moving and changing, but your phone number isn't, so we can find you, to make that order, if we need to. As you begin this new chapter, we wish you ease, enjoyment, and endless happiness. May your days be filled with the things you love most, perhaps a little extra time with your family. Congratulations, Beth. Thank you for everything. I will miss you. We will miss you, but enjoy your retirement. Love you.
Okay, so obviously I have the letter S for Scott. He is someone who truly keeps our school running smoothly, and there is no better way to honor him than with the letter S. So S is for stupendous. Scott, you are simply the best, a stupendous cleaner who has taken incredible pride in your work. Because of you, Preston has become the cleanest school in the district, and that is no small feat. Your attention to detail and commitment to excellence has set a standard that is hard to match. S is for strategic. Scott doesn't just clean, he has a plan. He approaches his work with strategy and purpose, always thinking ahead, always finding the most effective way to get things done. And that thoughtful approach is one of the many reasons he is so exceptional at what he does. S is for systematic. There is a method to everything Scott does. He is organized, consistent, and incredibly thorough. Nothing is overlooked, and every task is completed with care and precision. S is for superhero. Let's be honest, Scott is our superhero of cleanliness. While many of us head home at the end of the day, Scott often stays long past his required hours, making sure everything is just right. Not because he has to, but because he wants to. Because he takes pride in his work and in his school. And finally, S is for satisfaction. Scott doesn't leave a job half done. He stays until he is satisfied.
until everything meets his high standards. That pride and ownership in his work is something we all admire. Scott, you may have stepped away from your role, but the impact you've made will stay with us every day. In every clean hallway, every polished floor, and every space you've cared for so deeply. As you are living in your next chapter, we wish you slow mornings, stress-free days, and the satisfaction that comes with the job incredibly well done. Thank you, Scott. You are one of a kind, and we miss you so much.
Good evening. I'm here to talk about Becky. And it's only fitting to honor her through the letter T because tremendous is just the beginning of who she is and all she has given. Tremendous. Becky, your impact on all students has been nothing short of extraordinary. You have made a lasting difference in countless lives, and that also includes the adults who you've been blessed to work with you. Tenacious. You never gave up on a student, no matter the challenge. And if you've ever been a classroom aide, you know there are challenges. Your persistence and belief in their success helped them achieve more than they ever thought possible. Timely. Always dependable, always there when you need it. Your consistency brought comfort and stability to both students and staff. Trustworthy. You were someone who could always count on with students, with responsibilities, and with each other. Thoughtful. From the smallest gestures to the biggest acts of care, you always put others first. Tolerant. Through the years, you have faced challenges with grace, patience, and strength. Your ability to persevere has been truly admirable. Transformative. The way you supported students didn't just help them learn, it helped them grow, believe in themselves, and thrive. Becky, your career has been defined by heart, dedication, and unwavering commitment to students. You have given so much of yourself, and your presence will be deeply missed. I personally am going to miss having my right-hand man with me. And we were talking about it today. She's Becky Calabrese, I'm Becky Chafee, and I won't ever have to write Becky Chafee on a card anymore because I will be the only one, and that makes me very sad. So as you step into retirement, may your days be filled with rest, joy, and all the happiness you so greatly deserve. Thank you for everything. You are truly one of a kind.
Okay, hello. As we celebrate Kathy's retirement, it feels only right to honor her through the letter O. Because so many qualities of hers begin with this letter, and all of them have made a lasting impact on our school community. Optimistic. Kathy's positive outlook brightened every classroom and inspired students and colleagues alike. Organized. Her careful planning and structure made learning smooth and effective, benefiting both students and staff. Outstanding. In every lesson, every interaction, and every challenge, Kathy exemplified excellence. This consisted of being a special education, followed by second, third, and then wrapping up her career with fifth grade math and science. Open to ideas. This year, her final year, her principal moved her to a brand new grade. She moved with a smile, at least on the outside, and was open to making it a great year for students and herself. Kathy is always ready to listen, learn, and try new approaches, even in new adventures. Kathy encourages growth in everyone around her. Overall, an amazing colleague who, with her quiet confidence, focuses on her craft of helping her students learn and grow. Kathy, my friend, your career has touched countless lives, mine especially, and left a legacy of passion, creativity, and kindness. Sorry. As you step into this new chapter of life, may be filled with joy, adventure, and all things that make you the happiest. Congratulations. Yeah, it's me again. Oh, finally, we come to our last letter. As we celebrate Lisa's retirement, we can't help but notice that so many of her I'm not sure if I can do this. Remarkable qualities begin with the letter N.
Natural teacher, her ability to teach with ease, creativity, and authenticity is something that cannot be learned in any school. It is truly innate. To be in her classroom is to watch magic happen. Nourishes young minds. She doesn't just teach, she inspires, challenges, and grows the intellect and curiosity of every child in her care. Noteworthy attention to detail. That's her. From lesson plans to grading, Lisa's precision ensures that everything is done thoughtfully and thoroughly. Never gives up. No matter the challenge, whether it's a tricky lesson or a tough year, Lisa's persistence and determination never wavered. Never stops learning. Lisa's approach every new idea, strategy, and opportunity as a chance to grow, showing us all that learning is a lifelong journey. Needs student growth. Lisa takes student progress personally, celebrating achievements and encouraging growth with genuine care. Navigates change. Having been part of 2 building closings, multiple grade levels, Lisa has adapted with grace and professionalism. She taught at Sill Middle School, endured that family being split up. She was assigned to Price and then moved to Preston. She handled all of the moves with notable grace and a positive attitude. Lisa, your dedication, heart, and natural talent have left a lasting legacy in our district. You have nurtured minds, inspired colleagues, and set an example of excellence for everyone around you. We applaud you and your tireless commitment. Thank you for everything. You're truly Northworthy in every way.
So thank you for letting us celebrate our family. Before we let them go, the reason we all do this, everyone here, is for the kids. So they might have 225 some years, but I have a young group that have 13 years because some Preston graduates wanted to come wish them well. So they're going to give you a little something as you come on out, and then we'll let other people.
Stay for 1 second. One second. 1 second. Stay. Allison. Allison. Okay, yeah, do that.
Okay. We need all of our Preston friends and students on stage for a picture. Yeah, thank you, guys. Just right there. Sorry. Point your feet. Oh. You have this way? You have to be P-R-E-S-T-O-N. Can't do it. Really? Guys, you guys gotta go down. We have the students like in the middle, in between each teacher. Okay. I'm missing an S. Where's the, oh, there it is. 1, 2, 3. Great, thank you. Now you have to get off the stage. You know the first one never followed.
1 second. 1 second. As a board, we'd be remiss. Tomorrow marks a major milestone for Preston. It's a very sad one. When the bell rings at 12:50 tomorrow, the last students will leave Preston for the final time. As a former Preston graduate, it's very emotional for me as well, but for all of us on the board. So if we could ask all of our current Preston staff, as well as the many retirees who are here, because I see you out there as well, to stand and be recognized.
I called this principal and said, you're going to be following an act. I don't know what it is, but you can do it. So Amanda Wyckoff, could you come up? And we're going to recognize our next retiree, Miss Judy Varga, a second grade teacher at Price.
When I got here, Tammy found me and was like, oh, you're following me. So lucky me, because I'm not frilly. If you want a nice spreadsheet, I will get you one, a nice document.
Oh, no, you
But
brought out the big guns.
I know, I did bring the big guns with me though. So we'll hold our own over here at Price. So I am Amanda Wyckoff. I'm the principal at Price. So good evening. Tonight's a bittersweet night and also beautiful for our Price staff and our school family as we celebrate 3 extraordinary individuals who are retiring. So while I won't be returning to the podium for each, you're welcome, I would be absolutely remiss if I didn't take a moment real quick to recognize how much I've enjoyed working with 2 other folks that are going to be introduced in a little bit from others. But first I want to recognize Arthur Halsell. He had joined our custodial team this year. So even in a little short time that he was with us, he had a great impact on our staff and our students, especially Miss Varga, who I'm going to be speaking about here in a moment. He's just so respectful. Art is so much of a people pleaser. Everything he did, he always wanted to make sure that I was happy with it, and he would go above and beyond to make things perfect, which I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so that was a good match for me. He just always wanted to ensure that we were constantly happy, and he went above and beyond. So we've loved working with you, Arthur, but I know Julie's going to speak to you, but I didn't want to leave you out from our Price crew. Also is Kathy Sudry. So Kathy's going to be coming up in a little bit with the middle school, but she also served many, many years at Price as a school psychologist. She was there my entire tenure and my first gig as a principal. She was an extraordinary leader at Price, and I loved working with her. As a teacher, I worked with many, many school psychologists over the years. Maybe where I came from, we had a high turnover because it seemed we had a new one every year. So I had 6 years with Kathy here, and she was just a core part of our team. I trust her guidance and her, because she just works so thoroughly on everything she did. She has a very strong attention to detail. Everything is well thought out and just deeply rooted in being a fierce advocate for students. So I just wanted to mention those 2 real quick before our big introduction here for Miss Judy Varga. So that brings me to her, who I have the honor of introducing her quickly before her colleagues speak more of her. So Judy is one of the most genuine, kind people that I've ever known. Everything she does is rooted in goodness, faith, and absolute professionalism. She truly and deeply loves our students and her craft, which is a passion that is a beautiful thing to see shine through so brightly at this stage in a career. Her students thrive under her high expectations. Judy brings a very classic and structured approach and a loving attention to every detail in her classroom, and she simply expects the best, and her students rise to meet that every single day. Price will not be the same without you, Judy. Thank you for your years of unwavering dedication. I've loved working with you. She and Roseanne here took me under their wing as a new baby principal, and they've helped me so much, so I'm grateful for both of them. So I'm going to welcome up Roseanne Kostoff and Julie Maines to the podium to say their words for Judy as well.
I think somebody up here was a Preston pioneer. Is that correct?
Yeah, baby, Preston Pioneer. Yeah. Sure was.
A year ago, Judy, you were given the privilege of speaking at the board meeting in honor of my 38 years of teaching at Price Elementary School. Tonight, I have been given the privilege of speaking in honor of your 35 years of teaching, including 1 year as a substitute teacher in this district, 30 years teaching first grade, and 4 years teaching second grade, all at Price Elementary School. So everyone sit back, relax, and get comfortable because this may take a while.
Just kidding.
I'm sure when you moved to Cuyahoga Falls, you never imagined you would spend your career teaching in this district, especially since your first career was in the business world, and I hear you were there for 20 years. But thankfully for all of us, education won out.
You and your husband, Rick, built your life here in Cuyahoga Falls and raised your lovely daughter, Megan, who also attended Cuyahoga Falls schools. You completed your student teaching at Newberry Elementary School, which we used to say was just right down the hill from here, and then Price Elementary became your home away from home. For most of your years, you taught first grade to students who only had experienced a half day of kindergarten. Think about that for a minute. Every year, those little first graders would walk into your classroom and ask, "Mrs. Varga, is it time to go home yet? Mrs. Varga, when is nap time?" And my personal favorite, "Mrs. Varga, when does the afternoon class get here?" And every year you had to gently explain, you are the afternoon class and the morning class too. Since those students only experienced half-day kindergarten, you knew there was no time to waste. You had the enormous task of teaching them reading, writing, math, and probably how to tie a shoe or two or unzip a backpack somewhere along the way. And trust me, your second grade colleagues, yes, Julie and I, were counting on you to get them prepared. And as always,
You delivered it.
when Julie retired, I asked you to move to second grade with me. You said no. A few more times over the years, I asked again. You still told me no. But 4 years ago, Principal Amanda Wyckoff recognized your untapped potential to become an outstanding second grade teacher. And anyone who knows Judy can probably guess her exact response to that idea was,
Oh my word.
But finally, Judy, you were promoted to second grade. And for 3 wonderful years, we became quite the stellar second grade team. When I retired, I passed down my second grade scepter and crown so that you could officially become the queen of Price School that you were always meant to be. From everything I've heard this year, there has been nobody better suited for the role. Judy, thank you for the 35 years of dedicated service to this community, for the countless colleagues you encouraged along the way, and for the students and families whose lives you touched and enriched. Your career has been a true example of what it means to create a culture of caring. If your entire career was graded on one report card, it would be an A+. Congratulations on your well-deserved retirement.
Been patiently waiting, Art. Come on up. Art Hassel. Art custodian at Price. Also spent a lot of time under the leadership of Julie Hall, who's going to speak on his behalf.
Good evening. It is truly an honor to be here tonight to celebrate someone who has been the heartbeat of our Black Tiger community and true friend to so many, our wonderful Mr. Art. Art, as you look back on your incredible career with our district, I hope you feel an immense sense of pride. Your journey through Cuyahoga Falls has left a lasting mark across multiple buildings. From your time keeping things running smoothly at the former Cuyahoga Falls High School, to your days bringing smiles to Richardson, and most recently, making Price Elementary a brighter place every single day, you have been so much more than a custodian to us. You have been family. Everyone who knows Art knows that his personality is absolutely contagious. He is the definition of kind, courteous, and genuinely happy. But what truly sets Art apart is his massive heart for our students. One of the most fond and powerful memories we share is watching the way Art took a student under his wing at Richardson. If you ever saw them together, you know exactly what I mean. To see the look in that student's eyes when he looked up to Mr. Art was nothing short of magical. In that look, you saw pure admiration, trust, and a sense of belonging.
Art didn't just maintain our buildings, he built up the confidence and lives of the students inside them. Now, as you turn the page to this next well-deserved chapter, you have so much to look forward to. We know how incredibly excited you are to spend quality time with your beautiful family and your grandchildren, who are lucky to have you around full time. And of course, you can't forget your passion for the game. We know we'll still find you out on the diamond, dusting off home plate and calling the shots as an umpire. We just hope you don't miss us too much when you're yelling safe. Art, thank you for your years of dedication, your contagious joy, and for always going above and beyond for your students and staff. You are irreplaceable, and you will be missed dearly. We wish you the happiest, healthiest, and most adventurous retirement. Congratulations, Art.
Ms. Hall's going to remain here at the podium. We are going to recognize Ms. Beth Van Houten, an EL teacher at Lincoln, next.
It is truly an honor to celebrate someone who has given her heart and soul to the profession of education and to our Lincoln family, Mrs. Beth Van Houten. Beth, as you look back on an incredible 34-year career in teaching, I hope you feel an immense sense of pride. Your journey in education has been nothing short of inspiring. From starting out teaching English in Japan to returning home to substitute across Cuyahoga Falls and nearby districts, you finally found your true home with us. In 1994, you officially joined the Cuyahoga Falls City School District as an EL tutor, traveling between 5 different buildings, including Lincoln. The very next year, you stepped into a full-time 4th grade classroom right here at Lincoln, and you stayed in 4th grade for a remarkable 25 years. Now, even though you and I have only worked directly together for these last 2 school years, I have such fond memories of you during your 4th grade era, especially your wonderful work with the Lemonade Day program. Watching the way you engaged those students, fostered their creativity, and built their confidence is something I will always look back on with a smile. In 2020, you returned to your roots and became our dedicated EL teacher, staying in that role until this very year. Teaching English language learners has always been your true passion, and you have frequently shared how grateful you are to our district for the opportunity to finish your career with what you call the best job in the world. But truly, Beth, we are the grateful ones. Your passion has changed the trajectories of countless lives. I know you won't be a stranger to Cuyahoga Falls, considering you've lived here almost your entire life. I fully expect updates from former students who run into you around town at Acme, Dairy Queen, or Mark's, just eager to catch up with Mrs. Van Houten and tell her how well they are doing. As you turn the page to this next chapter, you have so much to look forward to. I know you are incredibly excited to spend time with your family, your husband, Scott, and your proud Cuyahoga Falls graduate children, Nick and Natalie. And of course, we can't forget your beloved pets, your 2 wonderful old pugs and that crazy Boston Terrier puppy who will be sure to keep you on your toes. You and Scott have some amazing travel plans ahead, particularly exploring our beautiful national park sites, which is perfect given Scott's background as a national park ranger. And finally, I love that you will be diving deep into your family history, gathering names and stories to preserve a beautiful legacy document for your descendants. Beth, thank you for your 34 years of dedication, your unwavering commitment to every student, every day, every opportunity, and for leaving Lincoln Elementary a much brighter place than you found it. We will miss you dearly, but we wish you the happiest, most relaxing, and most adventurous retirement. Congratulations.
Our next retiree this evening is Ms. Joni Alio, 8th grade teacher, ELA. And I'm going to call Mr. Denny Oswald up to the podium. I'm going to pull a Tammy Brown. Oh, pulling a Tammy Brown. Okay, then you pull the, I don't know if you can do that. She's pretty skilled, so.
Well, conveniently, I have 4 retirees, CFMS. Happens to be 4 letters. I don't have any letters spelled out. I'm really sorry. Yes, alphabetical. Actually, Sudri is last. Yeah. All right, good evening. I'm Denny Oswald. I'm the principal at Cuyahoga Falls Middle School. Tonight I have the absolute honor to recognize 4 incredible women that are right here with me, a third of our English department, as well as one of our district's longtime school psychologists. When I sat down to write this, I started to struggle with the right words. How do you summarize decades of professionalism, experience, and pure kindness? These ladies have dedicated a massive part of their lives to making life better for others. As we transition from Bullock and Roberts into our new building this year, our theme was building a legacy together. I actually came up with this theme while I was walking through the quiet halls of Bullock one evening and couldn't help but think about the lessons that were taught, the memories that were made, and really the thousands of lives that were changed within those classrooms. As I look at these 4 ladies here, that theme fits them perfectly. They are retiring at the end of this year, and they can leave knowing that they did exactly that. They built a legacy. First, I'd like to recognize Mrs. Joni Alio. Joni is known as the, quote, mom of the 8th grade teams from the former Bullock Middle School. She is incredibly passionate about her subject. Now, I can't imagine grading essays is a lot of fun, but I do know that Mrs. Alio always pushes her students to be better writers. I saw that passion not just in her classroom, but in the way that she talked about her students. Joni, as you retire, I know you are looking forward to traveling, and I hear Italy is on that list? Maybe in the spring. Maybe in the spring, okay. But please know that you've left a legacy here at Cuyahoga Falls Middle School. Yep. All right. Next is Mrs. Lisa Lambecker. Lisa spent a big part of her career as an intervention specialist, who she often says that she is a recovering intervention specialist. While I didn't get to work with her during that specific role, everyone tells me how amazing you were at that role, and that doesn't surprise me at all. I see how passionate you are about helping your language arts students succeed every single day. Lisa is honestly one of the most calm and patient people that I know. She is the first person to say hello to me every morning since we both arrive at school way, way too early. As you retire, Lisa, I know that you'll be spending some more time with your grandkids, and I hear that hopefully you get back to your stained glass hobby. Mm-hmm. Lisa Lambecker. Yep. Next is Mrs. Heather Schloss. Heather loves a good novel, and her passion really shines when she reads with her students. I always appreciate how Heather tried new and creative ways to get her students into writing. I distinctly remember a lesson where you had projected anonymous sentence starters on the screen, and during that lesson you gave real-time feedback, helping students become better writers on the spot. They weren't just learning how to fix their own work, they were also learning from each other. Heather, you are retiring, and I also hear that you are joining your husband in retirement as well. I hope that you enjoy that next chapter. I hope that you enjoy spending more time with your grandbaby Grace, and it is my understanding that you are going to be spending some time in Scotland. Yeah. Heather Schloss. Finally, I recognize Mrs. Kathy Sudri. Kathy has played a vital role in our district as a school psychologist. It's a role that often happens behind the scenes, but is a critical role for our students. Kathy is incredibly passionate about giving students the support that they need in order to succeed. Her patient and calm approach with parents helps them navigate through tough situations and find the right path forward for their children. Kathy, as you retire, I know that you're looking forward to a new grandbaby, and I hope that you love every single moment of being a grandma, and I hope that you have some wonderful time traveling whenever that happens. I know that you said that it'll be a little bit yet. Kathy Sudri. To all four of you, and honestly to all the retirees here, since I'm last, I'm just going to steal the thunder from Ms. Spock. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, the work that educators do every day is incredible to me, and I truly see that hard work every single day when I walk through the halls and classrooms. Anytime I have the fortunate opportunity to go into other buildings, it's incredible to see the work that all of you do. So thank you for your work, your dedication, and whatever the collective number of years and time is, a thank you cannot go far enough. So just thank you for your time, your dedication, and congratulations on your retirement.
Hi, I know so many of you, and I wish you the best for your retirement, but two of these people here I taught with at Bolick, and it was an honor and a privilege to teach with them.
It was our honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're good?
Thank you.
So let's give a big round of applause for all of our retirees. And for the family and friends that still remain, thank you. Being a supporter or a significant other or married to an educator comes with a lot of patience as we come home, and we're often frustrated. So I want to thank all those family and family members that came tonight and supported those retirees. If at the end of this, if you leave out those back doors, please grab a cupcake. I want to thank Peggy and Mallory, the administrative assistants that got everything together tonight. So thank you, and have a great evening.
It is. Every year, yeah. It's always so. I always get so emotional to,
I
you know, it's like.
I started teaching, you know.
I said, I could have given Denny a story about Joni if he needed it. I was like, well, I don't know if he was just phoning it in, but I could have given him at least a Joni Alley story or two.
I mean, even Karen, who's been teaching for 47 years, I mean, I would be unable to move after 47 years of kids. I mean, yeah, it's big group, inspiring, like you said.
I see they all snuck out.
Well, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was long.
It's long, but it's nice to do.
It's always, like you said, it's always just inspiring.
Yeah.
It really is.
They deserve it.
Yeah.
They do. Yeah.
In the trenches for all those years, you know.
This is a doozy.
I know.
Of a-
It was.
Fix that. She just fell in too. Everyone's falling off these ledges. I think we're getting railings put there.
Oh,
or dangerous. Yeah, just like right here.
Welcome, Anthony Gomez.
Carrie Schaefer.
Hi, Becky. How are you? AJ, pleasure. Pleasure.
Already got the colors.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Are you from the New Philly area? Or? Okay. Okay. Are you gonna move? Okay.
You don't have to dress him.
Because our former assistant treasurer is the treasurer for Dover.
I don't know.
Katie Brugger. Yeah. Because I got confused at first, because I always think they're the same district and they're not.
That's right.
But everyone always says Dover, New Philly.
Congratulations,
So then in my mind, I thought they were the same district, and I had to I was like, no, they're not. Okay. Everybody good to keep going now? Okay. Want to give folks a minute. Okay, we will move to item E, Treasurer CFO's business consent agenda. Ms. Stoikoi.
I'd like to recommend the Board of Education approve all items listed in the treasurer's consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, we have the minutes, we have donations, let's point some of those out here. Ms. White's on there.
That's supposed to be, anonymous.
She can request that it be anonymous.
Yes, we have to take that
I
up with
did,
Mr.
but
Jones.
she does. Pardon me?
Take that up with Mr. Jones.
Oh.
Oh, Mr. Jones.
No Kit Kat for him.
But and a number of other ones, the First Christian Church, Ben Curtis family, and a number of other things with Lincoln, the Black Tiger Family Center, Richardson, very much appreciated. The Cuyahoga Falls Library Agreement, that's just kind of to memorialize our agreement with them as their taxing authority and kind of set the parameters. As we went through this last iteration of their levy in May, we both kind of said, hey, do you have something? Do you guys have something on file? Neither one of us could really find anything that officially memorialized it and learned some new information. And so we decided it would be a good idea to get something down just to kind of protect both parties there in the case of things changing. Okay.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board?
No.
Okay, please call the roll.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmerman?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye. Brings us to item F, Treasurer CFO's business, Ms. Stoikoi.
Thank you. I'd like to recommend the Board of Education approve the April 2026 investment schedule and monthly spending report.
Second.
Ms. Stoikoi?
All right. So we can take a look at interest real quick. Actually, a little bit of an uptick compared to March, but again, we received our final settlement. So, March, April is where we have some of our higher balances, but 70,000. Looking at general fund, so we ended April with a little under 4 million. This is about where we imagined that we would be at this point in time. Looking forward to June with a small carryover balance into the next year, but pretty much on track with where we thought we would be. But again, the influx being from our real estate settlements coming in April, our final settlement. Food service, I do think, as I'm doing some calculations, so that ended about 160,000 in the red. However, if you recall, we are a month behind on those reimbursements. So my estimates right now is that we may fall about 50,000. I think my plan at this time is to advance that money if we can, and then kind of see where it shakes out next year. If maybe they can overcome some of that, see how things go. But again, it'll all depend on how things shake out at the end of this year. But I do think it should be right around that 50,000 or less that they'll end up short overall. And a lot of it too depends on the timing of that final reimbursement as well, whether it comes in June or whether it's delayed and doesn't come until July, so, there's that piece of it as well, but, we've been collecting, we had some good revenue just due to, graduation, so all of our seniors have to, have everything paid in full, lunch and their fees and everything, so we usually see a little bit of a, increase this time of year, just as everybody's making those final payments in order to receive their cap and gown and go to graduation and stuff. So that has helped food service there. And just for a good note, we can look at athletics because I feel like everything else is not great, but we're still in the positive there and sustaining. And so again, not too many expenses left as seasons are winding down in the spring, and that so. That's great right there that we were able to do that this year, and hopefully even more so next year as we'll have, I believe, how many, did we only have 4 home games at the new stadium? Or 3?
It wasn't 4. It was
But we'll have more at the new stadium
It's
next
only
year.
5
so,
total, and I
yeah.
know we had more, at least 2 at the old
Okay,
stadium.
I couldn't remember exactly how many were home or away, but hopefully, they'll see even more of a little bit of an increase next year because of that. We did see some, ticket sales go up once we were at the new stadium and some of the events that were going on. So.
I have a question about athletics. So I know one of the things we talked about was that one of the things helping athletics is the increase in revenue from ad sales. But when I see the total report, I can't really appreciate that because I don't know how much we're selling in ads. Is there a way that we could be provided a report on
Yeah,
like ad sales,
Yeah.
like how much that's bringing in? I think that would be helpful for us to understand the impact that that's making. And then also, because when we approved the scoreboard out of general fund monies, we were told that the ad sales would make it up. So I just want to make sure we're calculating for that.
Say that again, the scoreboard?
The scoreboard,
Like at the stadium?
we were told that the cost of that, if we paid for the scoreboard, the ad sales would make up for that. So I want to make
Yeah,
sure
well,
we're,
we paid for the scoreboard both indoor and outdoor with
did we?
project funds.
But we were told the ad sales would make up for it, and that's why we should vote for it. So I just want to make sure we're counting for that.
Yeah, I mean, we paid for those out of our building project funds. They would have been LFI, I mean, the stadium was LFI, and then I believe even though it's integral inside, I believe it was all LFI funded for both those. So yeah, we didn't pay out of the general fund for those.
Well, are we accounting for the ad sales to see that it makes up for it? Because that's what we're told. We were told that this is the ad sales over a period of time are gonna make up the price of that.
Of the cost of the
Yeah.
scoreboard, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we have track of that, of what, those sponsorships and those things are.
So I think it'd be interesting to see
Yeah.
if that's
We can get that.
happening.
We have talked about the rental agreements for the stadium. So the revenue from that, would that be allocated to athletics, or maybe we haven't decided that yet?
We haven't had anything like officially happen yet. Technically, in the past, if we've had anything, it's been like an OHSAA tournament game and thing, and so those are kind of run different, and then those proceeds do go, it's very small, what they give you. They give you basically a little rental fee, but that's all determined by, the Northeast Athletic District Board and OHSAA, so we haven't gone into one where we're full out, like, renting to an outside community group or that.
I think that's what she's referring to, the ones that Ryan has put together.
Yeah, it's gonna probably be a mix of both. You can do either. So obviously, there's costs in there to cover custodial, to cover things like that. Those are being paid out of
I guess
general
the
fund.
profit.
So,
would have
yeah.
Direct costs would be covered by the
So is that
rental.
Is that going back into athletics or into our general fund? We really haven't. Well, I can just speak to like the ads that we talked about. We're gonna make such a high profit that athletics would, they're gonna get above and beyond what they need, and so whatever's extra would probably go back into
Okay.
students or the fund, yeah, that we
Well,
can.
what we've talked about, that's not what we talked about. What we talked about was potentially moving expenditures into the athletics fund like we did with food service. That's what we talked about at the board table.
Yeah, I mean, either or we could do. So you could do where a portion of it, you say a portion of this goes into athletics and this portion of it goes into general fund, or you could move some of the expenses that are coming out of maybe perhaps general fund right now, like the emergency levy expenditures. We had set aside about $50,000 each year for them to, uniforms, equipment to get on that cycle. And we had talked about, moving those into the athletic fund and having that, cover that in a sense. We haven't had it, we haven't had to actually in practice do it yet, so there really isn't anything there, but you can do it kind of however we collectively decide is best, for the district, and whether it's,
Okay.
But your-
expenses or revenue or.
To your question, Mrs. Zimmerman, we're going to put that on the work session because there have been questions from myself and other board members about usage of the facilities and how long are the expectations for the life of a turf field or new basketball courts and things like that. If we're renting these out on a regular basis, does that wear them down faster, or is it a year lifespan? And just information like that we need to know, because as of right now, we don't have that capital plan yet. That's part of our strategic plan, so we don't yet have a budget set aside for when that needs to be replaced. So that's a concern that I and at least one other board member have raised before we would move forward with
the rental agreement.
with going out and kind of being, yes, these are open to anyone to rent these out. And so I had talked to Dr. Selko and said, this maybe needs to be a broader discussion at a work session with that information brought forward so that we can make a strategic decision of how do we want to do this in protecting assets that our community is funding, and then entrusting us to make sure we preserve, making sure we have all the information in front of us.
Yes.
And I've been at districts where they'll, at the end of the year, perhaps, they decide on a set amount that they transfer into a building fund that just kind of accumulates for those, for turf replacement, things like that. So it's not one big cost all at once, but you take a portion perhaps of, your rental or whatever it may be and move it, into a separate kind of dedicated fund for those items.
Okay. We'll talk more then.
Yeah, I think it's an important conversation, but we need, I think, giving administration some time to collect those additional pieces of information. So we can kind of hem and haw over that. We don't want to be in the business of telling people no, but we need to be in the business of protecting assets the community has invested in.
Right.
And balancing those two things at the same time.
Yes, agree.
That's it for me.
Any other questions or comments on the financial reports? Okay, please call the roll.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmerman?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
Thank you. Does Mr. Hutch have this to bring up to you?
He doesn't, but I can give it to him. I
Did
did
you
it.
want to send this to him?
Yeah.
So we can project it. Thank you.
Yep. And then I did print copies there. All right, I just shared it with you, Ryan, but it's very similar, other than the very first slide, to what you saw last meeting, but with the scenarios, Mrs. Zimmerman, that you had asked to see in regards to both the property tax and the income tax. I can go through them if you, whatever you guys, or if you have questions, however you guys would like me to.
Do you want her to present the information, Mrs.
Proceed.
Zimmerman?
We you should probably present it just for the sake of, because we have gone through many scenarios, and
Yeah.
this is sort of narrowing it down
Yeah.
to things that could work financially, so.
Yep, okay. So, okay. So I'm gonna start talking while Ryan pulls it up. So the first one there is the 5.5 mils. That, it was not in the last presentation, but it is what we talked about before, or during last meeting, and then I had sent out to you guys afterwards. So this is property tax, 5.5 mils. This would be in the November, so in November, it becomes effective the tax year of January 1st, 2026, and then collection starts the following year, January 1st, 2027. So in that fiscal year 27, you'd see a half-year collection, and then the full year from then on out. As you can see, it keeps us solvent throughout fiscal 32. And then it just, in 31 and 32, it does have us deficit spending just slightly in 2031, and then a little bit more in 2032. Again, those are many years out, so that's not super surprising, given some of the factors, again, that are in there, just historical trends there. With that. Any questions on that one? All right, and then the next ones are the income tax scenarios that were requested. So you can put both of these up there, right? Yeah. So these are just by themselves. So these would be the earned income tax scenarios at 0.75% and 1%. So I mentioned before that there's a little bit different collection cycle for income tax. So income tax, it's actually a little bit better for cash flow, but it does take a little bit longer to ramp up to like a full collection. So it comes quarterly, so you get quarterly payments instead of property tax, so you get the two. However, within the first year, it takes about a year and a half to realize that first full collection of the first year. So what happens is that some individuals, who just may not be paying attention or not aware that this has happened, and some may tell their employer, and their employer starts taking it out of their check in let's say 2027, because these would become effective January 1st, 2027. Other people may not realize that's happening, but what's happening, and so that it's not being collected then, but it will be when they file their tax returns with the state of Ohio. And so that's kind of the delay, is like everybody is getting used to this, and it is if it's something different, that's never been done before, and so that's why it takes that year and a half, because it's a year, and then about taxes are due like April-ish, and so that's why it takes that year and a half.
Is there any formal notification that Ohio Department of Taxation sends out to people?
That I don't know, but I can find out.
Just because I know how many people have, one of the things I do for a living is put judgment liens on people, and I just know how many people have judgment liens because a lot of people don't pay their taxes. So
yeah, I will double check and look into that.
And a lot of times people say like, I didn't know, and employers who are supposed to do tax withholding, like that's a huge problem.
Yes, and I would imagine that's why.
And obviously, they're not going to know who all these people's employers are.
Correct.
Which is who has to do the withholding.
Correct.
And people don't think to do.
No.
So I just didn't know if there was a formal notification.
I will find out for sure if they send out something formally. The ramp up is kind of, and I think it was on my last presentation, but it's kind of like in the first year, it's about 5.9% is like on average is what they say, and these are on the lower ends. And this is from the forecast software, and then it's like year 2 is about 70%, but then in years 3 and 4, you're getting that over 100% because you're back collecting as well. So you can see the difference, with the property tax in fiscal year 27, we're receiving, we're receiving half of a year's collections, whereas here, even though maybe this 0.75 or 1% income tax generates a little bit more dollar-wise than that, that ramp up, you can see, we're getting about 500,000 next fiscal year on the 0.75, about 667,000 on the 1. But then you can see as time goes on, that increases a little bit more significantly than the property tax, where the property tax stays a little more steady throughout the entire thing, except in that first year. But in both of these scenarios, we are solvent through the last year there in 32, and there is no deficit spending throughout the entire year shown there.
So in fiscal years 2031 and 2032, I know you told us your model, it just assumes the
It assumes a
expenditure.
historical, yeah, so, because it doesn't go out that many years, it doesn't go
Right.
out that many, so it looks back and it takes the historical, average increases to both revenue and expenditure and or decreases. So there could be some anomalies in there that are
So it's-
impacting that, obviously, like, we had big projects, HVAC projects that, you may see a spike one year and not another, that could be throwing it a little bit, but on average,
The model is increasing expenditures by like 2 million each year, but it keeps the proposed new levy income at 9 million, 9.5 million. Is that, wouldn't that also increase potentially the income from?
it could, yes, it could, just depending on, yeah.
It's just
'cause-
keeping it, that the model's just
Yeah,
keeping it flat.
yeah, it's just keeping it based on what it is with the income, what we have, the
So
data
that
we
will
have
change,
now.
that will, I mean, it will change.
It could, and
won't
it could
be-
change either way, if there is
There's a recession.
if there's a recession, if there's a pandemic of some sort, obviously that was one of the things with like an earned income tax is that, it is on actual earned income, and so people, it's their actual, it's not necessarily their pensions or their retirement benefits, which are more, a little steadier.
Or unemployment income.
Or unemployment and things, and it's on actual earned income, for people, and so in economic downtimes, that could go down. On the flip side, it could also increase. It just stays based on, what's in here is based on the data we have as of today as far as that income tax data from the Ohio Department of Taxation.
So the proposed new levy line is the income tax, and the proposed renew replacement levies is,
That one is the renewal of the emergency levy.
this assumes we will
Yes,
put
this
that.
assumes the emergency levy, and it also assumes, because in '29, the 4 mills expires, it was, that was passed along with the bond issue. And so that was a 10-year, and so that's also in there as well, starting in, I believe fiscal 30 fiscal 30.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's in the next one, you can see it's at fiscal
Yep.
30.
Yep. Yeah, so that's included, this is assuming just an addition of an income tax and not changing anything that, is currently being levied.
Okay.
So the next two scenarios are the same scenarios, but with the removal of the emergency levy, in a sense. And so the reason that this is, so there's a couple things I'm gonna go over. The timing of this just happens to work very well. So this expires at the end of the emergency levy expires at the end of this tax year. So we will still receive collections on it during calendar year 2027. However, if we are going to renew the emergency levy, it will need to be renewed by next November. So whether it's, whenever you decide to put it on in there, if that's what you choose to do, November is the ultimate last time that you can do it before it is considered, expired and it's, new money in a sense. And so this has the removal of it. So because it is expiring, you had, asked a question about putting it in with the, the ballot with this. So these two show, basically the same things, but we remove part of that money on that proposed renew replacement levies, which would then, we would just let that expire. Because, I'm trying to say this in the most because it's kind of convoluted. So because it's expiring, if you normally pretend there's no income tax, okay? And we don't need a new levy or anything, and you decided you wanted to let the emergency levy expire. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to take action in order to let it expire. So there's no necessary action for you to take here because the voters can't vote on you not putting a renewal on. They can only vote for the renewal of it or not. So they can't vote for you to do something with that. However, what districts do in order to kind of package it and make that commitment to their community would be to put that in the resolution authorizing, you know, the levy to go on there. So it would be in the language of that, I believe, the first resolution. I'm not exactly sure. It might be in both, to be honest. But saying that, you know, it is the intent of the board that if this were to pass, you know, that we would let this emergency levy expire, and it expires, you know, X, Y, Z.
Okay.
It
Only
doesn't.
be on the first, because the first goes to the auditor.
Yeah.
The second goes to the board, and the board won't take it.
Yeah. So it's really your intent. It's not. There's nothing for them to.
And not every county auditor will accept that language. You have to reach out to them in advance. Well, ours is fiscal officer. Not all of them will accept that language.
Yeah.
It's county by county.
Yeah, and you could do even if it's not within that resolution per se, I mean, you can do any kind of standalone resolution, because really, it's just you declaring your official intent to do that, in a sense. It's not necessarily like that's what's going, you know, like that the county is now. If you were to say, if we were in the middle of something and you wanted to then stop it in the middle of collection, would be a little bit different, because then there would be action to say, we want to.
Do a 4/5 vote.
Yeah, so, but in this case, the timing is that it's not necessary, but you can include that language in some way, shape, or form.
That's what I didn't quite understand last time.
It cannot go on the ballot, though. The Board of Elections
Yeah,
will not
okay.
accept
Yeah, the
it.
actual language won't say, because there's nothing, there's nothing to do in that.
No, it's non-binding language.
Yeah, so, it's not in the actual question that will be posed to the voter, because there's, again, it's like the absence of something.
Okay, that's good to know.
So in these two scenarios, again, the only difference is you're missing that emergency levy renewal, and so it still shows us solvent in all of the years, and then the only year that there would be deficit spending is in the 0.75% emergency levy, with the non-renewal of the emergency levy, in that very final year of about $878,000 there. So then the next slide, any other questions about the income tax or the lapsing of the?
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So, this is just ballot timing, so we had a renewal in the fall,
Last November, yes.
and then, so we're gonna be on the ballot with something in this coming fall. And then if we don't let the emergency levy lapse, we'll be on again in the fall.
At least,
Next fall.
yeah,
So
at
that'll
least,
be
but yeah, that would be
every
the last.
every fall for 3 years.
It's actually, I think there was maybe 1 year break in there, but there were,
So we
No,
don't.
it's 3 in a row.
yeah.
And then we're off in 28 and back in 29.
Yes.
So
But we
did-
could do 28 instead of 29.
So we worked really hard to get off the voter fatigue voting for less, and then we're right back, okay.
Well, last one's continuing. Everything that we can make continuing is continuing.
There are only
Got it.
2 left, the emergency levy, which cannot be continuing, so you would have to renew that every, 5 years if that's the intent to keep that. And then, the other one has not even, it's new money still, we haven't even come to the first time of renewing it, that's the one expires in 2029, that was passed along with the.
And we made it 10 years when we first passed it, which is, we usually did 5, so we at least did 10. I think Christy talked us into that.
I wasn't here. I wasn't here when you decided exactly
Were
what
you?
the millage
Oh, no.
was. I came in right then.
Right there. You were there for the victory.
Yes. I was there for the
Congratulations. Okay, thank you. Thank you, I filed it, thank you.
Because I think the 5 would have landed in a levy year. I think that's why we did it. I think if we had done it for 5 years, we would have landed in a renewal for another levy.
Yeah, I think it would have timed up with one of them. Yes, so those are the only 2 remaining right now.
Okay.
So the next slide just kind of puts all 5 of those scenarios together, kind of based off of, where we were here last time we met. So you can see the deficit spending. We've got, pretty good through 30 on all of these. Obviously, ending cash balance in all the scenarios at the bottom are positive. And then, the revenue over expenses doesn't really start, really 32, and then the 1 in 31. But there's a lot of things that can change that and factor into that. There's a lot of compounding in there and things like that. So any number of things can impact the forecast that far out.
I just want to say, in terms of levy fatigue, we haven't been on the ballot for 7 years for new money either. And when I
That's
talk to
amazing.
people around the state, they want to know how. And,
The levy cycle anymore, unfortunately, is about 3 years.
and in any of our options, that won't be where we are.
Correct.
So, I mean, we do good work here in terms of that, and people want to know how we're doing it. And I know that isn't necessarily always the feeling of our community, but the reality is that's not what it's like elsewhere. And if you just look at Akron, they passed a considerably sized levy, and they're making 20 million worth of cuts on the back end of passing that levy. That's not what we do here in Cuyahoga Falls.
No, I would say that the board and administration made good decisions with pandemic funding, that very strategic, that helped as well keep this going as long as it has, because really any more, it's about 3. It used to be about 5, the term, but it's not anymore. It's down to about 3 years is a levy cycle of most districts before they need new money again.
So on this comparison, on the 5.5 mils, these forecasts include renewals in 27, 20, and 28.
So in 30 and in 28.
So it expires in 29, to have to go on the ballot, be renewed by the end of 29, and then it would restart collections in 30. Would continue collections.
Okay, so, so we put this one, the 5.5 will go on the ballot in 26. And then there'll be another vote in 29 for the emergency levy.
Next year would be the emergency levy. So you could do it, the earliest you could do it is this November, or May and November next year.
Oh, so the 5.5 mil forecast includes renewal of the emergency levy?
The only thing that doesn't include renewal of those levies are the bottom 2 scenarios where they say NR. Everything else assumes that the 2 levies that are outstanding will be renewed.
So here's what I'm getting at. The 5.5 mil forecast relies upon passage of 3, it itself, and 2 more.
Correct.
Okay.
As does the next 2, the 0.75 and the 1, 2 more renewals throughout the course of this. So that 5.5 relies on it passing itself, plus the renewal of the emergency levy, plus the renewal of the 4 mills in 29.
Oh, that was with the bond.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, thank you.
Yeah. And the 4 mills and the emergency levy are always forecasted, at the bottom of the forecast. They've never not been, this is the first time we've had this discussion, so they've never not been modeled, so that's always been included in that. And it's the same with that 0.75 and 1%, And then the difference on the last two lines is just the removal of that emergency levy. But does include the assumption of the renewal of the 4 mills in '29.
Okay.
And our renewals always pass by large margins here.
Yes, we've been pretty successful.
Well, I asked for this to be added to the ballot because we had our Financial Advisory Committee meeting last week, and we were just updating, well, only one of our community members could make it, but we, Christy, or Ms. Stoikoi, shared with him the presentation we had seen at our previous meeting, and so we had a discussion about the finances and about these scenarios, and he had a compelling point that he would rather, if you look at in the 0.75 or the 1% with non-renewal, we don't have to ask for money for years and years. And to him, that was preferable. Knowing that he's voting to support our schools and it's going to be sustainable, we're not kind of kicking the can, because this income tax has the potential to grow. Meanwhile, with the property tax, you're only going to get this amount, and no matter how much we cut and how much savings we have, inflation and costs are always going to grow. So it's tempting. I don't know if tempting is the word. I think it's just really important to consider presenting something sustainable to our voters.
Mrs. Zimmerman, I don't mean to correct you, but just for the clarification of people who are listening at home, you said you requested to put it on the ballot.
Oh, I'm
You meant
sorry.
agenda.
Not the ballot, the agenda.
I didn't want anyone
Just
listening
for
at home
discussion.
saying, oh, it's going on the ballot, so.
I'm sorry.
I didn't, but I wanted you to
Ballots
finish your
on the
thought,
brain.
so I just wanted to, sorry, I didn't mean to correct you, but I didn't want to confuse people.
I just wanted us to discuss this in more depth as we move forward, because I don't want to leave this unexplored. And I know that they don't, income tax levies, it's kind of a crapshoot. They sometimes pass. A lot of school districts have them and have had them a long time. It's not a new thing that we're proposing. It's uncommon, but it's not zero, not 0% passage. I think if we can tell the story, tell the facts to our community and be very, educate them on the benefits of this, it could be a really good option.
So my questions are, if we do an income tax, an earned income tax, how much will that cost our residents? Do we have any idea?
So it's based on your Ohio adjusted gross income. So what you file on your taxes, that is the number, that is the salary, per se, that will. So for, because you would go the route of an earned income instead of traditional, it would not be taxing pensions, it would not be taxing basically retirees unless they are currently working.
Yes, okay.
And some other things like that. So
What about the adjusted, though? Clarify that. Because I didn't learn this, she said the adjusted rate. I didn't know that at first, so it's not your gross. So do you want to give an example of that? Like if someone earns $50,000, what that means?
Because you take off for the federal, and then the state uses that.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
so
it's
on.
just like when you file your taxes each year for federal and for Ohio, there's your total gross amount, and then there's your total taxable gross in a sense. And so what it's called is your, adjusted gross income, after, whatever applies to you is taken into consideration, and then that's the dollar figure that it is based on.
Well, I could say, I looked up the median household income in Cuyahoga Falls, it's $72,000. So I can't say what any one person's adjusted gross income is, but we know a 5.5 mil levy is $365.50.
Yeah.
And then 72,000, 1% of 72,000 or whatever that's adjusted to is gonna be significantly more than $367.50. So it's gonna be a bigger hit. And then one of my other concerns is when it gets collected. So I believe that income tax is a regressive tax, especially when it passes. People aren't really aware of it because think of how few informed voters we have and then how few total voters we have. People don't really know that this even passes. So they're going on living their whole life. Now they're filing their taxes. They've got to find all of that money to pay back that tax for a year because they never realized we passed a 1% income tax. So now I have to find 1% of my income because it's due by April 15th to the school district. I think we're going to put our families in an incredibly difficult position where they're not going to have that money, and you know who they're going to be angry at? Not the people that voted yes, they're going to be angry at the school district, and I think we're going to lose a lot of goodwill with our families. I also want to talk about the income tax history because that includes renewals. I went through today and just talked about researched additional income tax levies because that's what we'd be doing. We'd be doing a new income tax levy. So in 2023, 7 failed and 2 passed. In 2024, 0 new income tax levies passed. In 2025, they broke even, 10 and 10. In 2026, it's actually the exact same. So 22 failed and 6 passed. But in 2024, actually 0 new income tax levies passed. So the odds of passing a new income tax, as an additional, it's not very good odds out there. Renewing.
Was that in Ohio?
Yes, I used the tracker that she sent us through OSBA. So renewing an existing income tax levy, if you have one, your odds are very good. But the passage rates for a new one, those passage rates are very low. And then the history on why we have income tax levies in Ohio. The legislature put this as an option because rural districts could not pass property tax levies because there's so much property owned in rural areas. So they put this out as an option for rural districts, and they've been widely popular in rural districts because they will pass an income tax because that's less for them than a property tax. And the idea for the legislature was people in their communities are going to pass whatever costs them less. And so we want to give our school districts the option to pick the one that's going to cost their families less because we believe that's what they'll pass. So I think here, flipping the script is not going to prove to be successful for us.
So if your adjusted gross income is $100,000, your taxes are $750 from this.
Not if you're talking about the 70.75.
0.75.
I was talking about the one.
As an example.
Yes.
Now, now you're trying, you get into a mind game or a thought exercise of trying to figure out how someone's income correlates to their property value and what would cost them more or less. If your house is worth $72,000 and your property tax is, what was it, Anthony?
If your house is worth, the average house is worth $200,000, and so that comes out to $367.50, approximately $1 per day.
So it's about 32 a month, not quite. But
So
right
every person would have to make their own calculation about what would cost them more or less based on their property value and their income to truly figure out.
And if you're combining it with the non-renewal, you have to factor that in as well, that's coming off.
Right, so there'll be, I think that would be essential. I definitely don't think we could present our case to our community without committing to non-renewal of property tax. That's kind of the deal.
But you can't even explain that to people because there's no fixed millage rate on the emergency levy because it's a fixed valuation levy, not a fixed millage rate. So you can't even say this is the millage to apply to your house. It's a variable millage every year.
It is, yes, but it's variable millage really in the sense that the other ones are variable as well, just based on
Not in
that
the
dollar
same,
amount.
not in the same way though, because it's fixed, it's a fixed dollar amount in a different way than other levies are. That's why the
Yes, it
board
is.
chose that particular one, because it plugged a specific hole they were trying to
Correct.
plug at that time.
Well, here's another question I don't know the answer to, because it's all trying to anticipate what people will do, but they may not, the income tax may not have a very high passage rate, but then the other alternative is putting property tax levies on the ballot 3 and 4 years. Is that appealing to people? Are they gonna go for that?
It's proved to be very successful in this district in the past.
Except we haven't put one on the ballot in 7 years.
A new one.
A new, yeah, the
In 7
renewals
years.
have been
Okay.
successful.
We've had years where we had 4 in a row and they were all successful.
All right, well.
Yeah, we've had a whole bunch in a row and we were all successful. And we haven't had a renewal fail, I don't even know how long.
I don't think we've ever
That's what I was gonna ask. Yeah.
failed
Renewals
a
are
renewal, I don't know.
typically
They
not only
pass.
here, but here has a very high success rate of passages, that renewals are typically, obviously,
Our percentage
more
actually
likely.
went up
Yeah.
last year, which
Yeah,
was a
it has-
surprise,
it
a
has
pleasant
gone up.
surprise, but a surprise nonetheless.
in that, yeah. I mean, there's pros and cons to both. There are gonna be some people in the property tax levy that pay more. There's gonna be some people then, if you go the income tax levy, they're gonna pay more, and on the flip side, there's gonna be people that pay less or see savings. And so, but again, like you said, it's hard to say depending on everybody's home value. I mean, that's something everyone would have to look at for themselves in that sense. The difficult thing about when I'm trying to gather, as you had asked, for like the data on the income tax, what they don't keep track of, which I find kind of wild, is like they don't keep track of whether it's an earned or a traditional income tax. So that is not data that's like, some people have it in there, like, that's why OSBA has a database. It's a little clunky for me, like if I'm trying to put it in a spreadsheet, because it's just like nothing's uniform per se. So, some people may have the words income tax right in there. Other people say, especially if it's a combination. So it's a little hard to get into the details. And it doesn't say whether they're earned or whether they're traditional. Because a lot of the ones in those rural are traditional because they were back in, they started back in the 90s doing that. More as now, the appealing part of why people in those non-rural areas go with the earned income is because it saves your retirees and or those that maybe are on more of a fixed income money as compared to a property tax.
I think the other thing about property taxes is that if you don't like your valuation, because even if your valuation changes, it can change. If your valuation increases by more than the average, then it can change your piece of the pie. You can challenge that valuation. So you have a way to challenge that valuation. You can just meet at a local meeting with the auditor's office. You can go to Board of Revision. You can contest that, and people do all the way to the Ohio Supreme Court and get your valuation changed, which can impact how much you pay in your property taxes. With an income tax, when people say that it changes and it grows over time, what that means is anytime you get a raise, the district's in your pocket. Anytime you get a promotion with more money, the district's in your pocket. So anytime you're celebrating those things where you're making more money, we're right there in your pocket with a little bummer on your celebration, because that's the growth. The growth means anytime you make more money, we're in your pocket there to take our cut of that money. And there's no way to challenge that. There's no way to get around that. We're always there taking that away from you. And I think people have that process with property taxes to say, no, my valuation's wrong. My property taxes shouldn't have grown in this way. Now people can have their opinions about property taxes, that's a whole separate piece of the pie, but like, there is that process to say that my piece of the pie is not just. There's nothing with income tax.
Well, except you have the right to come vote about whether you think it's just. And low voter turnout and uninformed voters are a problem, but it doesn't change the fact that they do have a choice.
Well, they can vote on either or. I'm saying after the fact, even with property tax, you still have a process to contest it. You do not have that with income tax.
Their argument, yes. Yeah, you're right. So, the argument against property tax is you've paid for your house, it's yours, but you're still being taxed on it. I mean, I'm not saying that's my personal stance on it. It's just the issue that people have with it. So, I'm torn between trying to anticipate what will go over well with our voters, the prospect of something sustainable that we don't have, that will allow us to have a cash balance, not be deficit spending for quite a long time. Trying to understand if they will go for that, or making a decision based on my feeling that that is the sustainable thing to do, and letting them choose, letting them tell us by voting. That's what I'm...
I don't think you can put both on there at the same time.
No, right.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, I mean, that would be nice.
That won't work.
Saying that I think that this is, that it's worth, saying that I think that it's worth trying, and putting it to them to find out.
I think,
And I hear you, it's hard
I
too,
know.
because it is, and it was new to me when we went to some training, and it was a new concept for me to really dive into and learn about. And it is interesting because there has been that narrative of property tax, and, you know, why am I, you know, I'm gonna lose my home because of property taxes, and why am I still being taxed on this? I own my home, and you know, there's two sides to hear all those stories. I'm like, oh, this is you know, what a great option. You can still fund our schools, and then we're not taxing senior citizens, and you know, this money could grow, you know, whereas when we have a property, like a levy, we're not getting more money. Property values go up, we're not getting more money. That's just how that goes. This would be a great option, but it's something new, and I'm not sure that it would go over well, in my opinion. Even though I think it is a good option. I'm just not sure.
What is the risk of putting this on in November, and if it fails, putting the property tax on in May?
Your larger turnout will be in November. Your better chances in November.
we need to pass in November. If we don't pass in November, we're going to be in crisis mode.
Yeah. I mean,
We're gonna be
you're gonna delay collections a year, either way. So whatever, if something does not pass, all of this assumes collections of some sort, whatever they are, beginning at part of next year. You know, in part of next fiscal year. So, moving a year and saying, you know, November doesn't pass in any of these scenarios, you've now delayed that a year, and as we've looked at, you know, all the combination. The other factor to look at too is then you also at some point have to put that emergency levy on for renewal, whether it be at the same time, potentially as a new anything.
Because you have to pass that by November?
Correct.
Can you pass it in November?
Yes.
And we have to develop a statement of facts, and if it doesn't pass, we're gonna have to follow through on some portion of that statement of facts. And our statement of facts isn't going to be warm and fuzzy things, it's going to be very harsh realities. Or I like to say, they're gonna be severe cuts to critical services. It's not gonna be easy stuff. We've cut things that people didn't think we would cut already. So when you think about things that we're gonna have to talk about cutting, it's not going to be things that are gonna go over well with us or the community. And we're gonna have to execute on those things come January if something doesn't pass in November.
Okay.
So the time frame on this for them to decide, did you say that?
So,
It's today.
two resolutions. So there, the process is the same for any option you choose. So you have to have two resolutions. So there are currently 4 more board meetings scheduled between now and the time that it has to be to the Board of Elections, which is like August 5th, I believe, or right around there, if not. And so there are the 3 June and that. So.
Yeah, but you have to give the time for the fiscal office too.
I
So
would
you can't use the last one in June.
Correct. That's what, yes, that's what we were looking today at that. So I would say that your first resolution at the latest would have to be at the meeting, that work session on the 24th. And then that would leave the 2-week, 3-week period.
And that's pushing it.
Okay. That's, yeah, that would give you time before but yeah, you couldn't do, June 30th is not even 10 days before the next meeting, and it's over the holiday weekend, so that wouldn't be enough time. While they've always been good about getting it done, I wouldn't.
I also would add that the longer we wait to make a decision, the less time the levy committee has to prepare. So it's advantageous to make a decision, because if we don't make a decision till that last minute, then they have 100 days to prepare, which is not helping them, and it's not helping our case in terms of succeeding. So if we can make a decision tonight, it's all the more advantageous, because then they know what they're campaigning for. Because they can't prepare materials, work on talking points or anything like that until they know what it is that they are advocating for.
If we did not make a decision tonight, what are we allowed to discuss in the world about levy items with community members? I know that things have changed.
Well, you wouldn't be advocating for any or against anything, because there's nothing to advocate for or
So we
against.
could talk
Everything
about,
factual.
But what more information do you need?
I don't need probably a lot more information. I've just.
Well, I would just ask that you express what that information is, because if we're not making a decision, I think it's only fair that administration know what information you need.
From community members, if I was speaking about community members, about what
Talking
their,
to people
yeah,
before
what
we
their
decide.
thoughts are. What is homeowner A, B, and C thing, what is community member, that, if that's who I'm representing, what do they think?
And I also, I know Ms. Zimmerman is trying to save our senior citizens, but I know a lot of them do work to supplement their income, because really Social Security isn't that, I mean, it's nice, but it's not that much. So a lot of them do work part-time, and then they would have to, pay more income tax. So I'm torn. I want to save our seniors, but will we really save them? I'm not sure that I don't know. It's just a hard decision. I do agree with Mr. Gomez that it is, I think, an income tax is regressive. So if you don't make that much, you're getting hurt more. I'm kind of torn. I mean, we need to do something, and we need to do it quickly. So we do have to come to a decision here. So I'm with Ms. Schaefer. When do we have to have that decision made? Is it like the first meeting in June?
She said we could wait till the second meeting in June, but
Okay.
again, the problem is
We need to get the levy.
we're handicapping them. So if we
Correct.
want the levy to be successful, we need to give them the tools to be successful,
Right.
which is making a decision as soon
That's-
as possible. And again, the question is then, what information do people need?
Well, I think
just.
She answered, I'm asking Ms. White.
Oh, I think what Ms. Schaefer was saying, just talking with our constituents, seeing where they are, if we can, I don't think I'd be good at explaining all that. I'm not sure that I've got it all, but I could try to explain, just to people to see how they feel. But I think we do need to come to a decision on June 10th at our next board. But that does give us a little time to, if that's what you were thinking.
Yes.
But I do think we need to make that decision on the 10th, the next meeting. But that's like 10, 12 days. That should be.
I'm agreeable. I am 100% agreeable.
Mr. Harris?
Yeah, it's fine. So you guys are talking about going and chatting with constituents about,
Yeah, just to see how
see what they feel and
think.
kind of like you got a little bit of a
Right.
glimpse from your community member as well.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I understand what both of you, both sides here are the income tax and property tax levy. And I was in a similar situation, what Mr. Gomez described, with not having enough money for your taxes, and that really put Alicia and I in a bind. It really did. So, I mean, I'm torn as well, but I think we can come to a decision by this next meeting and move forward. So, I agree with that. Getting some input from folks out, in the streets in the neighborhood. See what they think.
Can I ask a question, and you may not have the answer right now, but just in hopes to expedite things for June 10th, have you narrowed it down at all, maybe, that we could, you know what I mean, that like once you, this versus this instead of the 5, is there one that's more, I just want to be ready in either scenario, and so like instead of having, the attorney kind of look up and do 5 different, if we could,
For me, obviously, the
Property
the
tax.
5.5 property. And then I was looking at the 0.75. I don't know what you
That's
guys
what I
were
was
looking
thinking
at.
too.
0.75.
0.75.
Yeah.
And then the 5.5, those two.
0.75
with the non-renewal.
with or
Yeah,
without.
exactly.
With the non-renewal, I think that,
Non-renewal one.
Right.
I think that makes, if you're going if you're gonna do the income tax, then you should do the income tax,
But we would need at least a 0.75.
with the relief,
If we get rid of the emergency.
if that's what you're doing.
All right.
But I don't know if, that's what I'm
That's
looking
exactly
at.
No, yeah.
what I was thinking. Yeah.
Okay.
This is what I wanted, just an open discussion to kind of hash this out and look at these. And whatever we decide, I will fully support. Property tax, income tax, I just felt we needed to have this
I have a
conversation.
I do have one
Question.
more oh, go ahead.
I have a question. Why would you, so if the whole point is that the income tax puts us in a better situation, why is that the one that the income tax folks want when that puts us in a worse situation in the ending cash balance?
Oh, I see that, yeah.
Why is that what you want to do?
Well, I didn't
Because
see that.
that puts us in a worse position than the 5.5 mils.
The ending cash, I think it would. I
So
guess
why
it
would
have to
you,
be the
why would that
1%.
be what you want when the whole argument for income tax is it puts us in a better position? You have to go to the comparison. Look at ending cash balance, 5.5 mils versus 0.75 non-renewal.
All right, yes,
Oh,
that's a good
without
point.
Oh, non-renewal.
emergency.
The only difference with that is that in the revenues over expenses, it's kind of the opposite way. So it depends on which way you look at it, which you can look at it either way, of whether it's the bottom line, or whether you're looking at, are you outspending, your actual revenue, so
I think how much money we have is what matters to me personally.
Yeah, what is your recommendation that they should look at?
I mean, they're both equal. I look at revenue over expenses, honestly, because that's a good indicator that we're fixing kind of the problem and not just, you know, necessarily the bottom line. However, you know, with an income tax, like we've said, there could be ebbs and flows depending on how the economy is. You know, you've got a flat amount with a property tax that you know you're getting, but it's not growing. It doesn't have the
Well,
potential to grow.
the revenue over expenditure in FY '30 is better at the 5.5 mil, so it's not consistently always the same.
No.
So if you're looking at that, it's a mixed bag anyway. So that's a mixed bag in revenue over expenditure, but in the 5.5 mils, the ending cash balances are always better. So you can get a mixed bag up there, but one's definitely better down here.
Yes, but is this, you're not, I would like to see, if we're talking way far out and we're talking about being like, you know, how long you're sustaining and that's one of your benefits of the income tax, then I think that it would sustain longer in that case because you're not spending as much as there. Your bottom line is different, but it's going down at a more significant rate in the 5.5 mils than it is in the income tax there. Now, again, those years are well far out there that there's a lot of variables that are going to impact that's, you know, which is why DEW doesn't look at, you know, kind of years 4 and 5. They really focus in on those 3 years that are there.
So which year should we look at? Because every year in the 28, 29, 30, the 5.5 is better too. So if we're looking at those, then it's better too.
In the cash balance, yes, yeah.
And in the revenue over expenditure.
So if we do the 5.5, can we then also maybe get rid of the emergency, or we cannot?
We cannot.
So that's not even an option?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's a 5.5 mils, that's inclusive
Keeps
of
us
that.
steady, okay.
And that's the only, like, so, and you have to do in quarter increments. So I know there seems to be, and I kind of looked at that too, is that there is a big difference between, you know, the 0.75 and the 1. And it's almost like the 1 is too much. But
That's what I was thinking.
But you can't, yeah, that's the.
It's a huge jump.
Yeah, yeah, but
But it
those
is,
are the
but it
increments that it has to be in, unfortunately.
Because I just thought the
So
1
that's
was
that.
kind of a
Now,
lot to
just as a reminder too, is that the income tax, it's more, you can set however many years you want. If you did want, some people I've seen 3, I've seen 5, I've seen 7, I've seen 10, whereas, you know, property tax, it's kind of 5 or continuing, just so you know what length of time for any of these would be. There are pros and cons to both sides, and there is certainly, it's hard to say, given the atmosphere currently, how things, you know, may go. It's a different time than in the past to say what is really, you know, running through people's minds and what their own personal, you know, struggles or not struggle, you know, are.
And I think I missed what you said, when he said, which one did you recommend, and I missed what you landed on.
As far as
Points.
between those two,
Yeah.
again, I think I'm in the same boat that you guys are in. It's difficult. I see both sides of it. I personally, because of the timing of things, that I would say, for me, if your thought was to at any point try an income tax, my thought would be to try it now and see, just because the timing works out, then if it doesn't, you kind of know what you have to do going into the next year. You can see where you're at. My opinion may differ if this was, you know, like a year later or things. I just think the timing of that emergency levy, if that's something you're gonna do, works out well in November. November's a better election to get a gauge. However, as I just said, it's really hard to gauge anything in this climate, and if property tax repeal is going to be on the ballot, which I'm not sure that
It won't
that
be.
it is, but that doesn't mean, you know, it could be back then the next year. That doesn't mean that, you know. So it's just, you know, people are looking for, you know, people are struggling, understandably.
Yep.
And so, unfortunately, it's not a one size fits all.
So were you guys thinking the .75 still?
I don't know, because I just,
So the .75 is a lower cash, well, in 32, but based
Well, I
on
was just
the,
looking over the revenue over expenses.
but then it would still last longer than,
right,
based on the,
Well, it depends how many years you put it on for.
exactly, that's
Yeah.
true. But you also go, with the 5.5, you need to turn around 31, we're going to be in the red, so.
No, that's just revenue over expenses. You're not red in your
Okay.
cash.
All right,
Yeah. None of these
I don't know.
scenarios,
It's
you're
just
red
so hard.
you're red in cash.
okay,
No.
okay.
No, it will last us probably 6 years. Even the millage, at least 6, 7 years again.
Yeah, it would probably be pretty similar to what we were able to do this last time. You know.
And my other question was, and, so it's only on earned income, but traditionally, like for taxes, someone that is under 18 doesn't get, they get their taxes back that they pay, but someone under 18 that's earning an income, we would still be paying this.
Yeah, if they are filing taxes at the each year and they have,
Would they know that they need to file taxes? Because
is how that, and I would also be interested to, I'm gonna ask, some treasurers that have it too, just to see how
So
that went in each of their communities too, just to get an idea if
So
they felt
six-
like people, you know what I mean, like people were on it or people weren't, and it was a mess then come.
are there any districts that have income tax that use RETA for their collection?
That's a good question. Is Norton? I don't know either, but I can find out. A lot of them are using Rita.
Have you spoken to the city about this option at all? And their income tax department?
I have not specifically, Dr. Selico, you had a,
Brief conversation
Yeah.
with the mayor, we were at an event, so we didn't get into depth.
Because a lot of times cities aren't supportive of it because they feel that that's their business. And then they can't give people full incentivization on projects because they can't waive all school taxes. And then I would just be interested because they do have an income tax director.
yeah.
Thank you for the light discussion.
well, I appreciate being able to dive into it, and I will support whatever we go with, either, any option,
It's a tough discussion.
It is.
but it needs,
I don't
you know,
like
it
it.
needs
I
to
don't
be, I felt it needed to be revisited, so thank you.
I will not support an income tax personally. And I would vote against putting it on the ballot.
Well, it just goes to show that we need to, you know, make sure people know to vote for supporting our public schools. And we'll see, but we need to vote for people that do support our public schools. Because it's not just our district that is this way.
That's
It's
correct.
almost every district in Ohio. Okay.
It's It's a good conversation.
Any additional comments, Ms. Boyd?
Do not.
Okay. Item G, Superintendent CO's business consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. It's recommended that the Board of Education approves all items listed in the superintendent's consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. So a number of items this evening for your consideration. We have some routine staff personnel-related appointments. We have summer work, extra duties for the 26-27 school year, many extracurriculars, supplementals listed in there. We have a recommendation for Lydia Taraji to be our EL teacher lead position, so we're recommending her for that position. We also have substitutes for transportation, food services, custodians, etc. listed, and then just recognizing, you see a resignation there for Ms. Scala, who you saw this evening, but she is going to take on a curriculum consultant job for the ESC, really more so the state support team in early literacy. So we wish her well and really appreciate all that she's done for DeWitt. They are definitely excelling. And next, we have some contracts, Learn Well and Ed Alternatives, and again, those are related to specific placements for students for their education. We have Crossthreads annual renewal, and that's for our translation services. We have a contract with Armstrong Moving Company, and that is again to move Schnee and preschool program to Preston, and we're going to get some costs covered from Schnee Learning Center that they'll be responsible for their portion of that move, so that was good. And then lastly, we have a pilot for your consideration that, Mr. Hutch, do you want to come up and talk a little bit about? Just, hobble over to
So we're looking for ways always to improve security, look for new things we can do. We know there's a lot of community sentiment to do more. We don't need the community to push us to do that. We want to do more too. We appreciate the partnership. We feel the same way. So we're looking at options, evaluating options. Volt is a zero-cost pilot for us. It's a camera augmentation system. It uses artificial intelligence to take our camera streams and look for anomalies in those camera streams. So it could be weapons detection, but we're looking for more than, weapons detection is one thing. And if we can find a system that does more than one thing, that's better. So what it will also do is look for people where they shouldn't be, that will be able to detect, at least in theory, hence the pilot, detect fights, detect weapons, detect people who may have fallen and have a medical issue. It detects all sorts of anomalies in our environment. We want to give it a look, a small-scale proof of concept at no charge to the district, just to get a sense for whether it's something we would even want the district to pursue in the future.
And I would add, just for a moment, Mr. Hutch, just to again reiterate, we have been looking at a number of safety options. We're not going to necessarily commit to any one of those. There are certainly costs associated, there's practicality, there's effectiveness, all of these different things we have to evaluate. But I don't want people who are listening to think that we've been sitting idly by. We have been working. I've tasked the team, Mr. Hutch and Mr. Gesper, to look at a number of options. But just to get the ball rolling and to have some time in the summer to sort of play around, if you will, with some of these different options available to us. This is one that's, again, free of charge. We want to see what it can do. It might be way out of our price range. It might not be. I mean, we certainly are looking at many other options, of which we will be presenting to you in a couple of weeks here, different things for your consideration. So I just wanted to preface, I meant to preface it before Mr. Hutch got here, so instead I'm saying it after. Is there anything else for Mr. Hutch?
I just want to say, if this was something we're implementing in our buildings, I'd need like a lot more information, but knowing that it's just something that we are researching and the way that we're doing it, I think is really smart, so that they can bring information back to us and see if this is right for the district or if there are pieces, parts of this that we want to implement. I really appreciate that, and I'm fully supportive of this.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. So are you gonna have people misbehaving
Yeah,
in the
that's great.
hallway?
We had hoped to we had hoped to be able to get this in before kids left, but we didn't, and that's okay. So now we get to, as administrators, we get to play.
Okay.
So we will ask the police department to come in and do some weapon brandishing. Like, let's see what it can do. We will have some fake fights. We will have somebody trip and fall. We will do the things it says it can do, and let's get a sense for what it can do.
Some real falls.
So we're looking for volunteers. If anyone wants to come for theater time.
Get lost in the building, they have a nomination.
Yeah, and this is a 30-camera pilot. We would do a much larger implementation, but we just want to see what the technology does and if it's even worth considering our investment.
I appreciate that a lot.
Yep.
I watched some videos on it and some of the comments that people were making on TikTok. And so there are some of the comments people were making. Will it recognize like a Nerf gun, or will it,
Well, we'll find out.
So-
I mean, we'll have the police department do the real weapons, so
Yeah.
we're following board policy.
Need
But
any Nerfs, let me know.
I can volunteer my nephews to do that if you
we could do water balloon shenanigans. I mean, I could think of a lot of things we could do.
need to be kept busy, and I can volunteer them. I'll sign the waiver.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hutch, for your work. Any other questions or comments on any agenda items, board members?
No.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Anything else?
That's it, thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Schaefer, will you call the roll, please?
Sure. Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Ms. Schaefer? Aye. Ms. White? Aye. Ms. Zimmerman?
Aye.
Thank you. Brings item H, Superintendent's Business, Dr. Salka.
Thank you. It is recommended that the Board of Education approves the administrator contract for Ms. Rebecca Howes as principal of DeWitt Elementary School.
Second.
Thank you. I'd like to tell you a little bit. One, she's endured a lengthy board meeting. You learned an awful lot, I'm sure, this evening. You can add levy discussions and finances to your repertoire there. Yeah, so it's good. You get to learn about the district and you get to see the folks here this evening. Board members, it is my pleasure to recommend to you Ms. Rebecca Howes. If you look at her spelling, it's unique in both her first and last name, as the next leader of DeWitt Elementary School, of course pending your approval. Ms. Howes comes to us with 4 years of administrative experience and a proven track record of instructional leadership across multiple grade levels. Most recently, she has spent the last 3 years serving as an elementary principal in the New Philadelphia City School District, where she also previously served as a middle school assistant principal. Prior to her time at New Philadelphia, she also served as an elementary assistant principal with Canton City Schools. Ms. Howes holds 2 degrees from the University of Mount Union, a Bachelor of Arts in Middle School Childhood Education, and Master of Arts in Educational Leadership. Furthermore, she holds comprehensive certifications, including a 5-year professional principal license covering grades pre-K through 12, alongside instructional endorsements in language arts, reading, social studies, math, and science. I am confident that Ms. Howes is the perfect fit to lead our students, staff, and families at DeWitt and to continue their success. We know they've been having long-standing success there, and it is with great enthusiasm that I recommend Ms. Howes for board approval as our DeWitt Elementary School principal. Thank you.
Comments from the board? We're excited to welcome you. Thank you. You call the roll, Mrs. Schaefer?
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Ms. Schaefer? Aye. Ms. White?
Aye.
Ms. Zimmerman?
Aye.
Let's get everyone.
And I am short, so I'll move that a little bit. I am incredibly honored and excited to be recommended as the actual next principal of DeWitt Elementary School. One of the things that stands out most about this entire school district, including DeWitt, is how clearly it serves as a true hub of the community, a place where students, families, staff, and neighbors feel connected and supported. That sense of community is one of the reasons this opportunity means so much to me and why I look forward to becoming a member of the community myself. It also was clear through the hiring process how much the Cuyahoga Falls City School District values and respects all educational partners. Seeing parents, teachers, district leaders, support staff, and secretaries all included in the process spoke volumes about the culture of the district and the importance placed on relationships and collaboration, and it is not that way everywhere, so I want you all to know that. I look forward to partnering with the staff, students, families, and community members to continue that tradition while supporting every child and building on the outstanding work already happening at DeWitt. Thank you for your trust and confidence in me. I am excited to get started and proud to become part of the Black Tiger family. Thank you.
Welcome.
Those are colors already, I
Yeah,
noticed.
that's been noted.
Nice, yes, and looking to move to the community. We've talked about, she has a long commute on her
She
way home.
mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think what you said about how people are so involved in the interview process, one of the things that impresses me about our central office people is how often they're not in their offices because they're out in our buildings. I always call Ms. Zeman her first year. She lived out of her backpack because I don't think she knew where her office was because she was like yes, it was always with her. So I think you'll notice that a lot next year, how often they'll just be popping up, and it's not because you're in trouble, it's just because they're always there checking in, making sure everything's okay. So,
One more approval, and then you're free to go if you'd like. So I know you have a long commute home. The second item, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve up to 10 days prior to July 27th, 2026 for Ms. Howes to serve in a consultant capacity as the principal of DeWitt Elementary School at a per diem rate as listed there. And this is again to help with the transition coming to the new school. Thank you.
Second.
any questions or comments? Please call the roll.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Ms. Zimmerman?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Ms. Schaefer? Aye.
Okay, now we gotta get to work. Thank you very much.
Congrats.
Talk to you soon.
You got one more.
Yes, you do. Sorry. Item number 3, it is recommended that the Board of Education approves the revised high school graduate list that grants the Cuyahoga Falls School District high school diplomas to the following students contingent upon their successful fulfillment of the State of Ohio and Cuyahoga Falls Board of Education adopted requirements.
So moved.
Second.
This is one of the, Mr. Smith had contacted me, and so these students, there were 3 students that had actually graduated early, and they didn't make it to your original list. So he just wanted to make sure that we had it covered, so he added those 3 early grads to that. So that's why you're seeing this again this evening.
Wonderful. Any other questions or comments? Please call the roll.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Ms. Zimmerman?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Ms. Schaefer? Aye. Mr. Gomez?
Aye. And comments?
Yeah, I'll keep them brief because I know we're at the end here and we're also at the end of our school year. So want to wish everyone a great summer and hopefully we have good weather. That's what I'm hoping for. Really nice, I really enjoyed the speeches. I know that they can be lengthy, but they were so creative and fun, and I enjoyed listening to the stories. And a couple things I just want to note. One is 47 years, right, for Ms. Newsome, so that's outstanding. We've talked about Preston closing, and I know how emotional they have been and how difficult this is for them. And then just the heartwarming story, I love that Ms. Hall told about Arthur. He is a great guy, and just knowing the impact that you don't have to be a teacher to make a difference in a student's life. And I just found that heartwarming, and I really enjoyed it. Touched because I do know him pretty well. He does talk quite a bit to me over the time that he's been here, and because he was at our board office for a while, so we got to know him pretty well. And it was just a neat story, and just warmed my heart to hear that anyone can make a difference with a child. Doesn't matter what your role is, you're valued here. So with that, I know you're going to probably talk about our closing activities, and just thank to everyone to a great year. Thank you to my team over here who's done such an excellent job for the district as well. So thank you.
Thank you. This is item I, board business. Number 1 is first read of new policies, revised policies. Section E, support services, EBDE, procurement administration of overdose reversal drugs. We had to make one small change to this. EEAE, student transportation and private vehicles. We're making a change in this on recommendation of legal counsel. EFD, misbranded foods and cultivated protein food products. This is required because of state law. They don't want, basically, if it's vegetarian or vegan food, you can't call it like a burger if it's not actually containing meat. So if it's a veggie burger, you can't call it just a burger. You have to brand it as an actual veggie burger because that's not a burger, only meat is a burger. That's what our state legislature said, and we're following the law. Section J, student, JEB, entrance age, mandatory kindergarten. We had to make a small change to this. So the legal eagles of the world have determined that the actual date is the first day of kindergarten. So we had previously approved this being the day before. The legal eagles of the world say, no, it's the actual day. So we just have to scooch that over one day. And if you noticed, when you got these, they look new because we have our new board policy provider. It's still not fully updated online. I don't know how that happens exactly. It's something Chris Jones will have to do. You make a note?
We've got it taken care of.
Okay. Because when I go on board docs, it goes to policies and it goes to the old board docs ones.
Yeah, we just had the conversation about that this afternoon.
Okay, so that's changing. Okay,
but we're-
perfect.
yeah.
Okay, it's called Simbly, it's a whole thing. And that's why when you've got your packet of policies, it looked different.
Yeah, okay.
You probably noticed, like, this is strange. Okay. If you have any questions or comments about those, reach out to any member of the policy committee before our next meeting when we'll vote on them. First read of the preschool handbook is item number 2. If you have any questions or comments about that, reach out to Mr. Elder before the next meeting, or Mrs. Zeman, because I know Mrs. Zeman also worked a lot. Reach out only to Mrs. Zeman, she's saying. Sorry, my apologies. Number 3 is handbook adoption for elementary schools. It's recommended the Board of Education adopts the elementary handbook for the 2026-2027 school year.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Please call the roll.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Ms. Schaefer? Aye. Ms. White?
Aye.
Ms. Zimmerman?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Thank you. Number 4 is handbook adoption secondary schools. It's recommended that the Board of Education adopts the secondary handbook for the 2026-2027 school year.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Please call the roll.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Ms. Zeman? Ms. Zimmerman?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Ms. Schaefer? Aye. Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Long night, is that right?
Thank you. Number 5 is future agenda items. So I wanted to go through some, so at our next meeting, on June 10th, we're gonna add the, discussion about the finance committee. I think I let everyone know, we have a policy about that, policy K&A. If you haven't looked at it yet, please do so. And then, if you need a copy of that, if people need copies of that policy, maybe someone can email Mr. Jones and ask that he put in everybody's Friday packet if you need a copy of that. So somebody think about that if that would be helpful. And then we'll have a discussion around that at our next meeting about what we're going to do about that. Since that came up just last night, I didn't feel like we should throw it on tonight. It gives everybody time to review the policy, and then we can have that discussion and create our plan going forward. And then we need to start working on evaluations for superintendent and treasurer, so I'm gonna have Mr. Jones work to send those out before the June 5th meeting, and then I'll send out a proposed schedule after consulting with Dr. Selko and Ms. Stoikoi about potential vacations they might have if they're gonna miss any meetings, so I'll get that out. Talk about the stadium rental being a topic for the work session. The statement of facts is going to be a work session topic, and I have 2 other things I'll have to reach out to Ms. Stoikoi about, because we said that at the end of the year, we would get a summary of the cost of the preschool, because we wanted to be able to say that it costs less, and then the, how much money, the increased cost of the meals brought in, because we raised the price. She could just provide information, unless we want to have that at a meeting, but it could just be information. Could be helpful. Let's start with information and then decide if we want it brought up.
That works.
Let's do it that way. Is that sensible?
Which one?
Yeah.
The two things really, the preschool money and the
That's fine, yeah.
increased cost of meals, because we
Do you
just,
want me to tell her that, or are you going to?
if you want to, that's fine. Because I forgot she had to leave. So that's what I have. There are other things we already put on the work session. I'm gonna follow back up with Dr. Salco after I get back from my vacation to make sure everything's right. If you don't have thoughts right now for work session topics, but some things in your brain, if you want to email that to me by June 10th, so that way we can make sure we get it on that work session meeting, and then any information that would need gathered can get to everyone. And then, are there other things I'm missing at this time, or things that people want to bring forward?
We're going to decide on June 10th about the levy direction. We
Yes.
already established that.
Yeah.
Okay.
What meeting would you like the portrait of a grad?
That's on the work session.
That's where I had it, but I didn't hear you say that. I want to make sure.
I have a question. I'm having surgery the Monday before that meeting. What is the rule on attending a meeting virtually? Are you allowed to participate or no?
You can't vote on anything.
But you could participate verbally, okay.
Yeah.
You can't
I had
make
planned on
motions
attending,
or
but,
second
okay,
or vote, but yeah.
okay. But just in case,
Yeah.
okay.
Anything else? We'll go to committee reports. Athletics and Activity Council is supposed to meet Monday, June 8th. And then for Board Policy Committee, in addition to what we had, you all got a rough draft of a potential new AI policy. We wanted to bring that up. Is that something everyone on the board wants to work on together as a possible work session topic? Or would you like us to continue to work on that in policy committee and bring it back to the board? We wanted to bring that as an option. We are fine doing either. We just wanted one for you to be aware of it and then to ask the question. We are fine doing it either way.
I'm fine with you all, with policy doing it and bringing it
Yeah,
to us.
we are not offended either way,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
we
it's
wanted to bring it up
entirely-
because we've done things both ways before, but we just wanted you
We
to
can
be.
provide comments to you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
okay.
By email, and then you can.
That works for us, that's fine. We just wanted you one to be aware and two to see how folks wanted us to do that. Okay, sounds good. Mrs. Schaefer, any committee reports?
No.
Okay, Ms. White?
Yes, the gifted team met, and we just basically talked about the same thing that she presented to the board the night before. But there were a couple of things that we might be checking out, new things, like the spelling bee in all elementaries, and Stop the Hate Club at the high school, scholarship essay help, and just things like that that we're going to look at, but we didn't want to place too much of a burden on Ms. Belko because she will be the literary specialist at the high school, middle school, high school? Yeah.
Middle school.
So, you know, that will kind of cut her time. But she has done a terrific job with gifted. So most of the parents were so pleased with what she's done. The DOT met 7:30 Thursday. I'm glad that's done for summer. I don't like getting up early. But at any rate, I do. And Miss Dudones, I wanted to thank her publicly because she always sets up the Zoom meetings for me. And we had a little trouble at first because I couldn't hear, but she figured it out and we got it. So thank you so much to her for doing that for me. We talked a little bit about teamwork, teacher clarity and efficacy, and what students should know and be able to do. I shouldn't say me, but they reflected on last year's, what practices can be sustained, what areas to grow in, and how to do that. They also talked about caring and the growing concern with cell phones and making no judgments with the caring and working together. They are doing data discussions, there's pacing guides alignment, common assessments, and grading engagement, working backward design, which I love, and, so some of the practices to keep. They did look at data and what are the growth area focuses, and they're trying to share strategies so that our students improve and grow much more. Support for teachers was talked about. Let's see. The survey, I guess that's pretty much, high impact strategies, learning blocks, and then next year's strategies like student accountability, which I love. Again, I think this is very important that students have a say in what they learn and also evaluate or reflect upon what they have learned. To me, I think that makes a big difference. And even though I'm not a teacher anymore, I still look back and go, geez, I wish I would have done that different. I mean, it's been 12 years. What am I doing? But I do, because you constantly learn, at least I do. And, most of us do, and, so on. So what are the behaviors most annoying in classrooms? That was funny. So, yeah. But talking about that and the growth, especially, that we're going to focus on. And I think that's pretty, did I miss anything, Ms. Hausman? Okay, good. But it was a good conversation, and I'm sure they'll be just as good next year. I just hope they're a little later in the day, but probably not, I'm sure. But that's okay.
Mrs. Zimmerman?
We didn't have Alumni Association this month because of all the many graduation activities that they help with. And the Financial Advisory Committee, we've already covered the levy and our openings on our committee. So that's all.
Mr. Harris?
Just a couple things legislative here. A lot of hearings and stuff going on in Columbus, but the Chamber Senate Bill 328 passed. That bill creates the Education and Workforce Return on Investment Initiative. That's a middle school career exploration course requirement with student academic and career plans. That bill's heading to the House. The House Bill 413 passed out of the House. That bill would create the Ohio's local government expenditure database and require all political subdivisions and state retirement systems to report their revenues and expenditures to that database. That bill is now heading to the Senate. So, yeah, not too much going on, but I just wanted to give you a quick update on that.
Any money coming with those?
Any money coming in?
demands?
Yeah.
One bill was introduced today. It was Senator Blessing, Senator Kent Smith, and Rep. Pizzoli, who's a Republican, but he's ardently opposed to vouchers. And it's called the You Got the Dough, We Get to Know Act. And honestly, for Ohio education is very involved in this. So I was on a briefing call about it last week. And so the idea is to push for more transparency in schools that get vouchers. So it's a first step towards voucher accountability to try to get more conversations started and get particularly Republican legislators on board with just voucher accountability. And they've been having a lot of really positive conversations around it. So they don't think it'll pass, but they think that they can start having really good conversations and kind of moving the needle a little bit with this.
Open a few doors, maybe.
Yeah, okay. Number 7, comments. Mrs. Zimmerman, you're first.
So I went to several fun events for the end of the year. I went the high school Fresh Farm Urban Ag program, was the speaker at the Silver Lake Garden Club monthly meeting, and I attended that. It was just wonderful. I knew about the program, but I didn't know all the details that they shared of just all the wonderful things that they learn that are cross-curriculum about business management and science, and they were there speaking to a group, and those 2 students did a wonderful job. And I also won some microgreens in their raffle. So that was very well received by the Garden Club attendees as well. I participated in Silver Lake Career Day. So I went and talked to 4 groups of students about engineering. the engineering profession. It didn't seem like I convinced any of them to take it up, but maybe, at least they know. And I went with Ms. Schaefer to the Richardson Elementary fourth grade book show. So all the fourth graders wrote their own stories and illustrated their own books about their families. So we got to see all their creativity. And then today was Silver Lake's fifth grade end of year party, and they were having a really nice time. They had a bunch of inflatable costumes that they were doing relay races around, which was delightful and fun for everyone. So
Those things are fun.
lots of fun to be had at the end of the year.
I'm up next. I've been at many things, but I just want to reflect on one. Preston had their final carnival last week, and growing up, the Preston Carnival was a really big deal. Like, everyone would go to the Preston Carnival. All the teachers would have their signature game, and my family was very competitive at the raffle. We would win quite a few things, and still have some of them in our house. So it was very emotional because it's the last family event at that school that's meant a lot and really shaped me as a young student. So I had to leave because it was getting a little emotional. But it was a really wonderful event, and it really felt like that carnival as a kid, because it was just packed with families, and they had some of the same games as when I was a kid, and it was just a really wonderful experience. So my heart was with my Preston family tomorrow as those last students walk out the doors. Mr. Harris?
Yeah, just congrats again to all the retirees, and especially, well, the retirees, but Maya. I'm just blown away by our art student whose art is going to be in Washington, D.C. I think that's just incredible. And the ceremony she got to attend and all that, it was great. So again, congratulations to all of them, and congratulations to DeWitt as well. Graduation was awesome. It always is. I've attended a few of them as a board member, and they're always exciting. Every time I'm just, again, looking out and just seeing families so happy and, gleaming with the, excitement of their kid walking across that stage. And then I did make it to the Memorial Day Parade. I did not march. We actually just got there where we were in front of the old high school to see the Top Tigers as they were coming by there. But yeah, it always is great to see the group, to see the alumni band coming by and everything. We missed the band, and Theodore was really upset about that. We could hear him as we were walking up, and then the alumni band saved me, so they did come by. But and then just happy summer to everybody. I hope you all have a safe summer. If there's any students listening, read some books, go to your library, and keep that education going. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Mrs. Schaefer?
Thank you. I wrote down a couple things. So at graduation, the speeches were excellent. So I just took some notes. I think the one that I just wanted to mention was, it's not the end just yet. And I'm not a Bollywood aficionado, so I don't know who Shah Rukh Khan is, but apparently he's very famous. But he used the quote from him in his speech. In the end, everything will be all right. And I say that all the time, but he has more to his quote. In the end, everything will be all right. And if it's not all right, then it's not the end. And I was really, I love that, and that's what I'm going to say from now on, because sometimes things get a little bit like you're nervous about it. So if it's all right, it's not the end.
That's right.
And then he also talked about, after graduation, things are going to be better than you ever expected, and also might be harder than you ever expected, and both can be true, and both are okay. I was like, you know what? I am inspired by this high schooler's speech. I am 50 years old, and I thought it was great. I was value at 50 years old. I was value to my life moving forward from the high schooler. So I thought it was great. I also attended the Preston Family Night Carnival. I didn't get to do a lot because I was doing cotton candy, which I thought was going to be super, super easy. It is not. it is not to get it onto that little cone thing. I tried to pass along them in bags. No one wants cotton candy in a bag. They all want it on the little paper cone, and it was difficult to do. So.
Covered in sugar.
I did not get covered in sugar. I thought I would, but apparently I'm really good at it, so my services. I did get to see the goats on the playground. So both my kids went to Preston. I did not attend Preston. I went to Richardson, but both my children went to Preston. So as evidenced by the number of retirees from Preston, Preston does have a lot of teachers with a lot of longevity at the school. So a lot of the teachers that were retiring tonight were also there for both my kids at school. So I mirror Mr. Gomez's sentiment. Although I did not attend that school, I spent a lot of hours in that school, and I spent probably an hour standing in that the playground talking to some of my mom friends. We were reminiscing about times that we had in the school and our kids growing up there, and it was a special place with special memories. And then also the book launch at Richardson, I think, was a grant. So it's how it was one of the fundings.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was. There was one little boy there that had in his book that he lived in Croatia, and my ancestry is from Croatia, and so when I told him that, he was really excited, and then he told me some of his favorite Croatian foods, and I've never had any of them. He did tell me that there was a Croatian restaurant in Cuyahoga Falls, which I did not know. So.
Oh, is there?
Oh, better go.
So he said it's there, so I'm gonna look for it.
Thank you. Ms. White?
Yes, congratulations to our class of 26, our graduates. It was a wonderful time at commencement. I also wanted to congratulate all our retirees. So many of them I knew and worked with in one way or another. And it's really hard to see some of the folks that I started my career with, although I was older, that they came in and I worked with them, and it's just hard to see them now gone. But I wish them well. And then I think that's really all I have to say. I will bring my book next board meeting, because I knew this would be a long one. Although my grandson was over and he's told me that, you've been out of education for decades. You don't know what is, And I thought, okay. But I will bring it. I think it's an excellent book and, worth it. So that'll be next time.
And brings us to item J, executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, section 121.22G4 is hereby moved the Board of adjourn to executive session and preview negotiations or bargaining sessions with employees concerning compensation and other terms and conditions of employment.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Ms. Schaefer? Aye. Ms. White?
Aye.
Ms. Zimmerman?
Aye.
We're in executive session.